the line here between our two very incredible teams, one expected and perhaps one unexpected. Phoenix has risen up to the top here as our first seed, cleanly taking out the Spuds 3-0 last week. But in a surprise upset, the third seed Raiders ended up taking down the second seed Cheesers in a 3-1 victory, sending the Raiders to our grand finals. And now these two teams are going to match up. Legends on both sides, prepared to leave it all on the Rift. I'm Becky Rita. Joining me is Noctisera, and joining us in spirit is Wookie Monster, as in we're haunted by a ghost. It's very paranormal. Noctisera, how are you feeling? What are you looking at right now?
So yeah, both teams, last week, we didn't cover them last week, we were down in Ruby. But for both these teams, they won their matches pretty decisively. Phoenix with a 3-0. Spuds came kind of close to winning one of the games. And Raiders with a 3-1 over Cheesers. Not too surprising. I think most people expected these teams to win. Cheesers might have been a bit of the upset, but people who were watching the Raiders knew that they had a really good shot. Most people expected Spuds to take at least one game. Sadly, that didn't happen. They were close, but no cigar. Here we have Phoenix and Raiders, both pretty decisive wins, both pretty decisive teams as well. So I'm expecting games that tend to be really scrappy early.
Yes. The Phoenix as a team is very much defined by their ability to be coordinated. One of the things that have put them head and shoulders above the other teams in the league is the fact that they are able to kind of play as a unit very successfully. Even if sometimes their laning is not always the best, as we saw in their match, well, we didn't see, as played out in their match against the Spuds, who are relatively strong laners. They are much more easily able to get in there and play as a whole unit in the later stages of the game, around objectives, around team fights, around pushes, and playing the map. It's something that Phoenix is very good at. They're very good at taking smart skirmishes. The Raiders, they're a bit more of an enigma, I would say. They have some really strong individual performers. Masuf, in particular, stands out as definitely the best top laner in the Sapphire division, and the rest of the team has done very well, but you wouldn't necessarily say that they're all the best of the best, but they do like playing, again, these very team fight oriented compositions. And here at the start, we have a Brand Poppy Jhin going over to Phoenix. A lot of flexible gaming there. Brand is a big pick for this Phoenix roster. Happier Cat plays that very proficiently, and it is still a flex pick for a couple of different roles. Meanwhile, the Raiders have picked up what seems to be kind of the standard Ashe, Braum, Freljord bot lane.
And there's no flexibility there. Yeah,
and of course, the one and only S-Legend on the signature Amumu champion.
Yeah, This whole season has just been he is. I don't think he's gotten Echo once, has he? I think most teams have just
not a single game.
It. Yeah, just permabanned. Doubt he's gonna get it in finals of all places. Nope. So yeah, Raiders just really no room for flexibility. We kind of know where all these champs are going. I highly doubt we're gonna see any weird Amumu mid top Ashe support Braum on hits. I don't think we're seeing any crazy things. It's most likely Raiders going for this. And yeah, we see the Ziggs. That's probably gonna be mid. So just saving a top counter pick is not shocking. Phoenix now sort of know exactly how, I assume know exactly how they want their comp to shake out. Probably a safe blind pick top laner. I'd imagine that Poppy probably going top or support. I don't think it's going jungle, although I say that there is a chance that it goes to Happier Cat. I know that Zebra has a little practice on this brand as well, so could be flexible, but I assume with that Rakan getting locked in, that it's probably going to be Poppy in the jungle as more of this Amumu counter pick, really good for those counter ganks. Yeah. Jhin Rakan, both very good, especially with the Leona banned out. Jhin Leona sort of that quintessential, make it very easy to line up those deadly flourishes, but Rakan really good with the engage. Poppy doesn't really have a lot of main engage, kind of just has to run at people, so having Rakan as your sort of main source of engage and Poppy being able to follow up is pretty smart. I'd imagine we now get a good blind pick top, although the Aatrox is already banned out, so we'll see. Just gonna get the Mundo locked in.
Dr. Mundo. Yeah, that's gonna be DT Munford going over to Unkindness. We've seen a lot of love for this Mundo pick in pro leagues recently on some of the recent patches. Mundo has gotten quite a bit of love. Not necessarily as a blind though, so I'm interested to see what Unkindness is sort of planning here and how the Mundo is kind of gonna fit into this composition. But that gives Masuf plenty of room to just play any stupid champion and try and farm this big purple idiot up in top lane for as much as possible. But I don't think Yone is my favorite.
Yeah, honestly. I'm a bit surprised. I was thinking of the Camille, right? He's had pretty good showing on it so far. He's been playing quite a bit, so I was much expecting the Camille, just because of how much more it gets played in scrims, in other matches against other teams. Seems to be a lot more confident. I should also note, we did have a game where we saw him some scrims where he was playing the Smolder top, so similar to last week, giving my shout out possible maybe weird pick. Masuf on the Smolder top would be very interesting, but no dice game one. We're gonna see the Yone instead. Good at dealing with these tanks, although I don't know how I feel about it into this sort of Poppy brand comp. I feel like it's a lot more disruptible than the Camille, who should probably have a much easier time getting on the brand and the Jhin, right? You do get your hook shot blocked, but you can still just use that ultimate. That doesn't get blocked. There's no knockup or stuff that interrupts that. You go into the air, you lock a carry down, they can't leave, they can't flash out. Makes it very strong, especially to combo with things like the Amumu, the Braum, and the Ziggs. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. I think it's a lot more of a risky pick here.
Yeah, I would say so too. It seems like it's going to be really up to the execution by Masuf here to make the most of this, because it is going to be pretty difficult to get the most out of this Yone pick and really optimize it, because there are some pretty juicy targets for the Yone in both the brand and the Jhin, but you are going to have to try and navigate these fights very carefully, because Poppy is very good at stopping you. The Rakan is very good at stopping you. So these two champions alone, and Mundo being a big purple idiot, is going to stop your ultimate in its tracks if, you know, Unkindness is there in the right place at the right time. So it is going to be very tricky. But I think if there is a player who can make it work, it would be Masuf. Otherwise, I really do like the Raiders composition. We saw last week the Astronauts pilot these very Ashe-centric compositions that worked wonderfully in sort of negating a lot of team fight action and just taking control of the game and always taking fights on your own terms, which if the Raiders are going to win, that's what they are going to want to do. With that said, I'm curious as to what is your prediction here for our game one? Which comp do you personally favor?
I think I'm personally going to favor Phoenix here, just because I really like all the anti-engage they have. Raiders have a ton of anti-engage as well, and if we're being honest, a bit more range with that Ashe and Ziggs. But I think having Mundo as a constant side lane threat, I imagine he's probably not going to be grouping a ton unless the game gets dire, but I think Raiders love to pull the trigger. They love their combos. They're not hesitant, but I think into something like the Poppy and Brand, I think it's going to make that playstyle that they're really comfortable with a lot harder. Jhin is going to have to deal with two tanks, but he's not doing it alone, right? You have all that peel, all that CC from the Poppy and the Rakan, and you have all that extra damage to cut through those tanks with that Brand. So I'm personally going to give it to Phoenix, probably the favorites here going into game one, but I think Raiders have a definite shot at taking this. I really think these games are going to be close.
Yeah, I would say that while I think out of the context of the teams as we've seen them, I actually would personally prefer the Raiders composition, just based on what I like to see in teams and kind of the bias of how my read on the patch. But I do think that the Phoenix team definitely has the edge, and there are so many difficulties that these power players on Raiders are going to have with this composition that Phoenix has put together. That I think it'll just end up being getting to a point where they have to play a perfect fight, and I don't necessarily know if they can. But with that said, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll be in on the Rift for Game 1 of our series here in the grand finals of the Blue Water League Draft League Sapphire Division. Stick around. Our exciting Game 1 coming at you after the break.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 1 of the Sapphire Division Finals for the Blue Water Draft League. We have Phoenix versus Raiders, both starting out on an even playing field, both very, very hungry for this win. It all comes down to this. Don't know if we're going to get a best-of-5 series. I'm hoping it's interesting at the bare minimum. Both teams starting out seemingly like a bit of a 5-point. And we talked a little bit about these comps, but I would like to know, Becky, what do you think is going to be, what team do you think is going to be sort of putting their foot forward first?
I think if I had to guess which team has the ability to make things happen, both of these teams kind of require their ultimates before they can really start making action happen. I think the Toad's secret agent Toad is going to be Human Ward. Gonna be fine. Does have that W to get out, but taking a lot of punishment here as minions spawn. That's gonna be HP. He's not gonna heal. That's not ideal. As
yeah, and doesn't start with the Gleaming Quill either. He had to use the W to get out, so he's not gonna have that level 1 extra healing off of his Q either. So definitely a lot of punishment here.
Yeah, and it gives Ash and Braum the ability to kind of just safely sit in the bush here, and they have to know that they're still there. Yeah, the pings are coming out. They know that something's happening.
Yeah, the damage coming in. Ruffian already forced to cleanse out very early. Toad looking for more. Probably going to have to burn his flash. Not flashing at all. The damage is going to be good. Way too late there from that. Dira picks up first blood and not paying off. That Human Ward waiting just a bit too long. Maybe thinking that Dira was dancing around that bush, was never going to check it. But now Ruffian with no cleanse is probably going to have to be forced to burn flash or get stunned up. An extra auto from Dira. One more. And AFK Boulder tanking the tower. A double kill this early on, just 2 minutes in the game. Dira up 2-0. Going to get that wave crashed as well. And it is disaster for the Phoenix bot lane.
Yeah, I really don't understand, like, the Human Ward strategy not panning out for Toad. That's unfortunate. But unfortunately, like, at that point, you are kind of in an unfortunate situation where, like, if you do not have the ability to gain control of that bush bot side, you are under threat. And they just didn't respect the ability to just sit there and wait for them to approach. I'm surprised they didn't even know they were there. I would have to look with Fog of War off to see if they had something going on, but I don't know. It's very strange that they didn't prepare for that. And apparently my mic, I sound like I'm drowning. Is this real?
No.
Hello?
You sound fine to me.
Okay.
Maybe some bad feedback.
Yeah, it's possible. I also was not speaking directly into my microphone. Don't worry about it. I'm a professional. So yeah, good play, good punish from Dira and AFK Boulder, but they're gonna have to make the most of it now. And as the lane sort of continues, onward, Ruffian and Toad are clawing back a little bit of a lead for themselves, but S Legend's gonna try and turn it.
Yeah, missing out on that bandage trust. Toad able to get away with that grand entrance, using it to escape, and really, Ruffian and Toad just have to play kind of scared now. They're not allowed to really step up. Ruffian is up in CS thanks to that early crash, but Dira should be able to turn that around pretty quickly now, just zoning them off the rest of this wave. Toad and Ruffian having a really time walking up as S Legends down here again. Toad forced to use that battle dance to get out. They're sort of taunting S Legends, say, go in, let that wave crash, but with the jungle help here, it's kind of impossible for Phoenix bot lane to walk up to do anything here. And the rest of the map, I think, is fine to just chill out. Happier Cat and Unkindness don't really have a way in on their opposing laners. And if you're the rest of Raiders, you're kind of fine just letting your bot lane win this out, right? You don't need to take any risky plays. Just let S Legend back them up. Dira has been playing very well this season, but meanwhile on the top side, Masoop thinks he might have found a solo kill. Unkindness not popping the ghost just yet, but the damage not quite enough. That Soul Unbound execute not doing quite enough. Unkindness does have the TP back, but gonna be forced out. Masoop just needs to shove that in and back, and nice little CS lead there. Able to burn Unkindness's TP as well. It's gonna be really nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty solid win for Masuf here, especially if he's able to save this TP. I don't think he will necessarily. If I don't know if Mundo has the ability to shove in that quickly, so it's pot. No, he is going to burn the TP. So they do trade TPs there, but it is definitely a pretty decent CS advantage going over to Masuf. Not quite massive, but on the first recall here, getting that okay.
Ooh. Hey, Dira getting very low here, and in the attempt to zone off the wave, I think Dira just autoed one too many times, took a bit too much minion aggro, and ended up getting chunked out, not really playing their range properly, and punished. Even though they had the lead, it's going to be a bit harder. It's going to give Ruffian and Toad a little bit of wiggle room here, I say, as Ruffian might have stepped up a bit too far. Taking it, Toad manages to land that. The grand entrance is good. Ruffian flashes forward, does manage to get that kill first there. Now S-Legend onto Ruffian trying to find it. Dira needs a bit of slows onto Toad, but the second bandage toss will be good. Double kill in the bot lane. At least Ruffian was able to get a trade back, but really good from S-Legend there, knowing when to come bot, help out his bot lane, and make sure that they don't throw that lead.
Yeah, S-Legend, just in the right place at the right time, was going to be on bot side anyways, just from how he was pathing. So, you know, being down there is very advantageous because it does allow, although they do give over a kill, it's only one. And this Ashe picking up another kill and S-Legend getting some gold in his own pocket is always pretty advantageous for themselves, as Zebra is top side with AFK Boulder, who is around. So this Braum is up here. I think it'll kind of help Masuf out a little bit, but now Swedish and S-Legend are going to be in a bit of danger.
Yeah, takes the satchel charge over the wall, but the deadly flourish is good. S-Legend flashes over the wall, but he is already dead. Happier Cat managed to get that passive off, and now it's Toad and Ruffian possibly just taking out the ward, but Zebra's down here now, so they're going to actually take that dragon and say thanks for the leash. And you can see the sort of idea there with AFK Boulder heading topside to stop Zebra and Unkindness from maybe taking anything there, but with Dira already back, they are not able to sneak that dragon. They have vision on it, they know it's happening, and they get collapsed on. Really nice play there from Phoenix to recognize that, and Happier Cat, bit of a CS lead, an extra kill is going to be really nice in helping push out these leads. Meanwhile, on the top side, Masuf just trying to punish Unkindness for his pick here. Uses the maximum dosage out, so that's really good getting that ult down.
Yeah, it's going to be a big cooldown that Mundo is now just not going to have. The healing is going to be nice, but unfortunately, that amount of regen, Masuf has been able to sort of claw out these little trades that are advantageous. So without that big save me button, we could actually see Masuf potentially go for a solo kill if Unkindness is not playing safe and just takes too many bad trades into getting absolutely womboed. Speaking of wombos here, we got ultimates prepared.
Okay, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide, but S-Legend is here. Manages to find that second banish toss, even though he misses the first. The Crystal Side Mummy is good. Toad needs one more auto, but it's not going to be enough. They spot him out early enough, try to get the run down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Happier Cat running down Swedish Pancakes, who's forced to flash out. Dira now with the slow, needs to get one more auto, lands a stun onto Ruffian. AFK Boulder manages to go past, and an amazing flash to dodge out that grand entrance. One more auto from Dira will do it. Another double kill in the bot lane for this Ashe. Now 5-0-1. Rushing that Blade of the Ruin King, gonna deal so much damage. None of these 0 damage Ashe builds now. We're going for the Bork, we're going for the damage. We're gonna carry this game. And already a 1k gold advantage, only 9 minutes into the game. And Phoenix are kind of just happy that they have that dragon now at this point. Gonna really be struggling early on here.
Yeah, I decided to go back because I was curious on my own feed and see why Ruffian and Toad stepped back up after they had a pretty smooth escape. They had some really genuinely smooth moves there, dodging out the arrow. They kited back very expertly there, utilized cleanse well. It was what should have been a pretty clean escape, but unfortunately, from what I saw, it just kind of seemed like Ruffian decided to step up to the wave, got tagged by a Winter's Bite, and from there it was over. So, the wave was going to be in a pretty bad spot if they had just recalled there, so I understand the idea, but giving over your lives again for that is absolutely gonna have some very negative ramifications for this bot lane matchup, as this Ashe is 5-0 here. This is not the support Ashe we saw last week piloted by Boat Chicken. This is an Ashe with golden pocket. And we're going to see what this champion can do when given a lead. And it's filthy. It's pretty filthy what Ashe is capable of doing. So it's just a matter of what can Phoenix do now to try and use their leads that they've found elsewhere. Like you said, we have a pretty sizable lead in mid lane. Happier Cat on that brand is quite proficient. So making Swedish kind of, Swedish kind of struggling a little bit here, down in CS, down in XP, but otherwise it's just a very neutral kind of lane. And speaking of neutral, top lane is also fairly neutralized here. I guess the pick from Unkindness, the blind pick Mundo, is doing its job, but Masuf is getting slowly getting to that first item spike, and we'll potentially see some more threat put out there as we do have a trade.
Really nice up there. We have the top side going S-Legend in the bot lane, trying to trade out for those grubs, but the knockup is good. Toad manages to land a Grand Entrance on the one. Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't hit anyone, though. The Cursed Sad Mummy will pick it up. Zero with the other. No kills returned for Phoenix. Another 2 kills picked up in the bot side. 6-0-2 now on this Ashe, and it is going to be 6 scrubs for Phoenix. Nice little consolation prize, but no kill to be had. Masuf now getting punished in the top side. Wasn't accounting for all that base Mundo damage, especially when he pops that Ghost. Really nice plays there from Unkindness. Masuf forced to ult out, but doesn't have to use any sums or anything for it. Still has that TP up, so it's not the end of the world. And something interesting here, I'd imagine that we don't see the Rally's brand here. I think this is just going to be the double burn from Happier Cat, realizing that he has enough Peel and CC and Zebra and Toad and potentially Unkindness that you don't really need that Rallies. You can kind of just go for this Blackfire Torch into Leandri's double burn combo to pump out as much damage as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's also smart because in most situations, you're not going to be the one slowing them. They're going to slow you. We have got to fight.
Yeah, AFK Boulder dead to rights here. Happier Cat picking up the kill. Or sorry, Zebra picking up the kill, but Happier Cat doing most of the damage. Jira now forcing them back. They just need to find here. S-Legend forced to back off. They see him over the wall, so no shenanigans there. No Curse of the Sad Mummy either. And AFK Boulder just stepping up a bit too far there. Dira was not back in time, did not have the backup he needed. Goes down. They're actually going to give over what looks like to be the second dragon of the game. Yep. So Phoenix currently with all of the objectives on the map so far. Still a gold lead for Raiders, but Phoenix doing a really good job of playing the map here, even with how bad this bot lane has gone.
Yeah, and this is something Phoenix has shown time and time again that they are very good at doing. They're very good at trading. If something is going badly in one part of the map, they are always looking for something else to get on the other side of the map, which has allowed them to get the 2 rounds of Grubbins. Because of S-Legend's focus into the bot lane, which makes sense, bot lane is doing very well for themselves, and shutting down Ruffian takes out one of those 2 carries that you're going to have to contend with later in the game. So I get it. But Zebra's doing a good job playing around that, realizing, okay, my win condition for right now is I need to start getting some of these objectives. And setting up those getting the grubs kind of uncontested, and then setting up around these drakes has been very good for them. They've found really good picks as a team around the Drake, around those Drake pushes. And now they're going to make the most of it. But Toad may get pushed in here as we have the Enchanted Crystal.
Yeah, really good. The Mango Inferno Bomb to help get some extra damage. 2 Swedish Pancakes with a little bit of an assist there, but Rufian's just going to get run down under his own tower. Diro with damage so massive right now. And you can see we were just checking that gold. Was a 2k gold advantage, now even more. And it is mostly on Dira. Dira is 2k, now even more. I'd say probably almost 3k maybe with that tower. Yeah, 3,000 gold up on his opposing laner. That is a massive gold difference. Only about 300 in the mid lane, 200 here and there, sort of dashing out 500 in that support role now. 2 top, relatively even, but pretty much the entire gold deficit is on Dira right now. If Dira goes down in a fight, it is very realistic that Phoenix are able to pick that one up, but it's going to be so hard with all this peel. 2 full items at 15 minutes, has the Bork, has that Phantom Dancer, and now is rotating up for this Herald. We might see a fight up here. Meanwhile, Masuf just there to answer and punish, make sure Ruffian doesn't go uncontested in the bot side. We'll see if they decide to back up here. Happier Cat sort of positioning around. They want to get this mid lane shove first. They know that they're dancing around vision, but might be a bit too late. We'll see. They're actually going to go for the tower instead. They know that Ziggs is able to satchel charge this.
Yeah, and Ruffian's abandoned bot lane at this point, so it's just going to be Masuf down there. So it's going to be 4v5 up here at this Herald, but it looks like they won't even go for a fight, as Zebra just picks it up. Yeah, they don't even attempt to go for a fight here. They don't feel confident despite the 8-0 Ashe that their team has. They, without all their full team there, they just did not have the confidence to go to flip that objective. And it was pretty tough. They didn't have a lot of great vision. They didn't have the scuttle. They didn't really have a good way into the pit. And walking into the pit when you aren't prepared, you have to deal with then Brand, who destroys your face if you just walk in as a bunch of clowns. So, yeah, another big objective pickup. As we're going on a journey with Unkindness in the top lane. But, yeah, despite the lead here, Dira is actually dead as hell.
Maybe not. A really nice knock up there from AFK and Boulder to interrupt the curtain call. Zero forced to flash out. Now S Legend on his way. Gonna be able to find it. Goes in. Finds the two-man Curse the Sad Mummy there. Onto Zebra. The Crystal Enchanted Crystal Arrow manages to find Ruffian. No body block to be had. The brand damage is good, but it's not gonna be anywhere near enough. Double kill now for Dira. And another one picked up for S Legend, but Unkindness has finally shown up to a fight. The burn finally takes out S Legend. AFK Boulder kiting back. Dira getting stunned up. AFK Boulder not tanking for his AD carry, and Unkindness is actually able to run him down with Happier Cat picking up the kill. Now AFK Boulder on the run. Unkindness trying to chase him down. Just needs one of these cleavers to try and slow him down, but it's not going to be enough. The damage not quite there. The flash is not good. Nice little speed boost there to get out thanks to that Solstice Slay, and AFK Boulder is there. But a massive shutdown going on to Happier Cat, who actually is going their allies. I was wrong. He's not going right for the double burn. Instead wants that extra slow, maybe on that Ashe really happy. Masuf is dead. There is no way you get out of this. The Deadly Flourish is good, and Happier Cat with another shutdown here, and has really pulled away, right? We said Dira was this entire gold lead, and still really is the gold lead for his team, but now we actually have a 2k gold, a 2,000 gold deficit. Happier Cat in the lead in mid lane is going to be really good, and if you could have the gold on anyone in this game, I think it's having it on Happier Cat is something you're very happy to do. Does have this TP. Dragon coming up in 10 seconds is probably going to be our first massive team fight of the game.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if there is going to be a contest here, but Phoenix are first on the draw. Swedish is up and top side, does have TP. Vision is not bad for the Raiders, but they're going to have to try and, keep that vision and maintain it. TP will get used by Swedish and Masuf both. They are now here at the pit. We are going to get that 5v5 potentially as all 5 of our gamers on both teams approach this angry dragon. Yeah, they're just kind of walking at each other here, and I don't necessarily know if that's what the Raiders want. Masuf's got an angle.
Zebra keeps channeling that knock-up, trying to knock someone back, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow manages to find Zebra before he can get away. The curtain call comes out. AFK Boulder's in S Legend with a 3-man Curse the Sad Mummy onto the entire backline. Masuf follows up. AFK Boulder not quite dead yet. Now Ruffian and S Legend 1v1ing in the bot side. Vanish Toss is not good. Swedish Pancake's trying to get Unkindness, but he's going to be able to get out. Ruffian looking in, maybe to find something that's up to charge, zoning them off quite well, though. And an amazing engage there. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds Zebra, who has no choice but to run, is dead before anything can happen. And you can see the damage that Happier Cat was able to put out was really nice, but S Legend managing to find that 3-man Curse the Sad Mummy onto the entire backline just ended the fight right then and there. Really great plays from the Raiders there.
Yeah. Although it looked a little bit like they were not going to be able to get that Drake. Once again, they were kind of just pushed out of the river. They did remember that, hey, we have a very fed AD carry. Let's just run at them. Masuf found a pretty decent angle going around the wall and just kind of trying to get onto the backside. Then, of course, we had the pulling the trigger from Dira with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, just set up for everything else. Once that arrow landed on to Zebra, it was pretty free to just kind of clean up from there. So much damage coming out from the Raiders roster. And I will say, I did acknowledge S Legend there with the pretty incredible Curse of the Sad Mummy, sort of finding their way on to Ruffian and stopping that curtain call really helped the team just kind of secure that fight without any bloodshed dropping from their own roster. So once again, the Raiders are looking pretty solid right here, as they do have themselves in a good position, about a little over 6K gold lead. They are still down in overall objectives, but I think they've set themselves up very well here to potentially look for a Baron push once they find perhaps a pick. I think a pick, control vision, they can very easily clean up that Baron. They've got the Amumu with the Leandries. They'll have Burn on Swedish pretty soon. Going to be completing that item in a bit. And of course, Ashe at the breakpoint she is at is so strong. The double Borks, there is so much ability to shred this purple worm if they find the ability to get onto it. So Phoenix has to kind of play smart at this point, try not to give up like any sort of free pick. They really do need to kind of honestly just pray for a good fight. It's weird to say when you're a team that's, you know, 6K gold down, but genuinely finding a good fight with Brand can turn the game. And this might be it.
Good damage here. Toad manages to land double knockup too. Dira forced back, still under tower though. The Mango Inferno Bomb finds a lot of damage, but a nice flash forward from Zebra. It's knocked back into the wall. Double kill now for Ruffian. Swedish Pancakes trying to run away. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Masood finding a solo kill. Onto Unkindness is a little bit of a trade there. Swedish Pancakes flashes over the wall, but the speed from Dira is just so much. A nice little dodge out there, but it's not going to be enough. Zebra right back into the wall, and Ruffian with this 4-shot will finish him off. Nice triple kill there from Ruffian. Turning the game kind of on its head now. The gold's way evened up, and a Baron play potentially for Phoenix. Meanwhile, Masood on the bot side could maybe threaten to just end this game, so there's going to be no Baron attempt to be had. Happier Cat forced to back out here. Really nice answer here from Phoenix. Little bit too over-aggressive there from the Raiders. I saw what they were going for, but they just did not respect the damage Happier Cat and Ruffian could put out when you're there, when the rest of your team isn't there to help you out.
Yeah, and I think what we saw like a flash of it at the start of the fight, but the Enchanted Crystal arrow was used and ended up going sideways. And from there, I think the play is you just kind of back off. When you're the Raiders, the onus is not on you to start taking these fights. You take them if you find them, but you don't want to just Oh, speaking of randomly dying.
Dira?
Dira just
really
walks
know why
out
we're
into the mid lane with no backup.
Or Vision. That is an interesting choice. And speaking of Baron potential, that might just be it. Having your 10-3-6 carry dead that all of your gold is on is not great. You don't have a great way in. Yeah, Masood and Swedish could definitely carry this fight, but with no vision right now, they finally see that they're on the Baron, but they don't have any lane control. Happier Cat finally rotating in here. It's going to be a 4v5 if they decide. It might just be a steal attempt from S Legend. Walking around, seeing if they can find anything. Echo Inferno Bomb finds some good damage here, and Masood, if you can see, just looking for a potential way in. Zebra channeling that ultimate, trying to knock back S Legends in, and he manages to snipe out the jungler before he can go in. Now the Enchanted Crystal Arrow manages to land on the Happier Cat, who's immediately sniped out, and the 4v5 is starting off very well. AFK Bolter finally goes down. Now Ruffian into the curtain call, trying to dodge out on S Legend, but they see Masood on the backside.
Baron's still aggro?
The Baron's still aggroed. Ruffian saving the 4-shot, but it's gonna be Swedish with the steal! And now Ruffian forced to back out. Masood with a double kill on the backside, diving in onto the backline, and now it's just Unkindness, the only one left, trying to slow it up. That tower's still alive though, and they don't want any more. Gonna turn their eyes back towards the dragon, and an amazing turn there from the Raiders there. Oh my god. Great damage
real.
there.
He can hurt you.
Ziggs is very real. He can hurt you, and that was so much poke and damage over the wall. S Legend just needed to come in, get the snipe out onto Zebra, who was tanking the Baron that entire time, and didn't actually hit that Keeper's Verdict. Missed Swedish S Legend when he went in, gets assassinated, so no more smite. And the decision to continue the Baron there, I think they felt they were desperate. They felt that they probably needed to find something in that fight, but a really nice pick there from Ziggs. The 4-shot, not quite enough damage at this stage in the game.
Honestly, I don't even think it was necessarily that the that it was the side of Phoenix who wanted to keep it aggroed. Ziggs has enough CDR where he alone can kind of force Baron to just keep attacking. And honestly, I don't know if it was intentional to have Baron be your 5th gamer, but Baron did so much for the side of the Raiders there because it was just continuing to punish, Ruffian and Zebra and the others who were stuck in the pit and were forced to then back out. And it just allowed Masuf to get a good angle to clean up on the back, and S-Legend, the whiff from the Poppy ultimate was very unfortunate because it just allowed that S-Legend to get in there and force the issue. And although I do respect the gumption for flipping that Baron still because it was still leashed, Swedish did have the better gamer smite as Masuf is just going to kill Happier Cat to death. Never mind. Happier Cat is going to kill Masuf to death.
Yeah, not really respecting that burn. Meanwhile, there you can see Zebra with a nice little knockback there. S-Legend no longer in the fight. The curtain call opens up. Zebra is already forced back. We were able to pick up Toad so far. Unkindness able to pick up some Heart Steel stacks, but you can see only 39 stacks. Wasn't able to really do a lot. Now in the middle, trying to get some extra damage down, but he might be a bit too far up. And speaking of Heartsteel Zax, that seems very greedy for Heartsteel Stack. Just walking into 4 people to die. Don't know about that one.
Yeah, it's plus 40. Smile. Plus 40.
Plus 40.
We have 78 Heartsteel stacks. Why even buy the item at this point? Like honestly, why bother? You aren't gonna be able to stack it at this point in the game. What are you doing? I don't get it. I feel like you're better off spending your gold on other items. I don't necessarily know what else you'd buy on Mundo in this situation, but like you're not in lane. It's gonna be really tough to start stacking that Heartsteel at this point in the game, and it's like whatever. You're just a big you're a big swamp of HP. That's cool and all. You're into 2 people who have Blade of the Ruin King, and then also 2 Leandries and a Mumu. You do not have the resistances to survive here if you're just going full HP. I'm not gonna harp too big on it because like there are bigger problems that that Phoenix is dealing with right now, but definitely stepping up to get the singular 40 HP, maybe not a wise decision, as it were. Currently, looking at our objective timers, we've got about 1:40 on to the mountain and about 1:50 on to that Baron. So neither team at Soul yet, both of them at Soul Point. The Drakes have been stacking a little slowly this game. Let's see what'll happen at this next Baron flip. The last one was quite thrilling. Hopefully this time the Dira doesn't get caught out randomly in the mid lane before the Baron. Although I guess it did end up well for the Raiders, so just run it down. force a bad flip. Ziggs will do it. Smile.
Surely. The biggest issue here is obviously all the getting caught out. Raiders still in the lead. They have 2 dragons up. They're able to get all this objective control now, but they still need to be careful. Phoenix have shown time and time again this game that if Raiders overstep, if they screw up, that they will get punished for it. That Phoenix are definitely not out of this game yet. You can see now the Leandry's finally getting built on the brand, who had to go sort of this double, more utility defensive with the Zanyas and the Rallies beforehand. Jhin now finally has that Infinity Edge, which is going to provide a lot of extra damage going for that sort of static into RFC. Kind of just tickling the tanks. But now finally with that extra, you can see Dira now finished with that Mortal Reminder, going to be able to shred those tanks as well. So a lot of damage going to be had in these fights. The tanks are not as tanky, more so relying on their CC than their raw stats now. S-Legend maybe looking for Happier Cat, but has to be careful. Does not have his team backup. The Dragon is up, and it looks like Phoenix just going to kind of give this one over, looking for maybe some potential trades out on Kindness. Trying to 1v1 Masuf, not showing any respect for the damage here. The Bork and Infinity Edge are so high, and it looks like they can collapse on here to get the Drake. They do manage to pick up that 3rd Drake, but the Grand Entrance knocks up Masuf. some damage now. The curtain call opens up. Maybe able to ult out one
Aw,
more. Won't be able to land it.
way.
Unkindness chasing out, though. It does still have the ghost, and it's going to be the deadly flourish that lands there. The damage is going to be good. Masuf just dead to rights. Not going to have any extra way out. Looked good for a while, but no real way to get out once that second deadly flourish hit. Bye-bye to S-Legend. AFK Boulder and Sweet's Pancakes now might be up a bit too far. The Braum stepping up, finally putting up the shield. The damage here, really good. Has to be very careful there. Toad on the backside. A flash in from S-Legend. Actually, a flash out. Good bandage just there, but Toad has a good angle. Quickness is still up. Looking to find something. Unkindness trying to run it down. Rufian looking for the damage. Manages to flash over the wall. S-Legend does pick up a heal from the chickens, but it's not going to be enough for Zebra's flash over the wall. AFK Boulder finally taken out by Unkindness, who's getting run down by Dira. Amazing deadly flourish there. Zebra into the tower. Is he able to find the damage? Force to flash out. The barrier goes up. Happier Cat flashes forward, but isn't able to find anything there. Toad stopping Swedish from pushing forward. Nice play from Phoenix there. A really good punish. Triple kill across the map, but it's going to be Raiders who actually end up picking up the drag. So not the end of the world for Phoenix, but still not great. You're on that sole point now for the Raiders, and the Baron is up.
Yeah, that was a very ambitious push there from the Raiders. Good keeper's verdict from Zebra to sort of split that that tower push. Swedish decided to stick with it. With Boulder was like, okay, we can bust this down. I'm Ziggs. I have my auto. Just wasn't able to quite do enough damage to get that into execute range. And from there, the angle was just really good for the side of Phoenix to follow up. Toad was an Unkindness, had a really good flank onto them, and just sort of one by one picked off the Raiders as they fled. And now they're going to fight again.
Yeah, Zebra going a bit too far forward. It's going to be S-Legend picking up the kill thanks to that Leandries. And this is what we've been seeing a lot, going that extra damage item on the Amumu just to help with your early clear, get that extra dive damage into a full tank build. And now the Baron started up. Phoenix not even going to try. They're just going to try and trade towers. First outer tower down in the mid lane, finally getting that down. It's going to be the bot lane tier 2 as well. For Unkindness. Now they're pushing into that mid lane, possibly try and get that tier 2, but not going to have enough time. Forced to run into the jungle here. And
Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, not quite good. The Raiders did back. Swedish Pancake CPing in, but nothing to be found here. They're just going to manage to walk their way out. And Zebra, just a bit too far forward up there. Not able to find his entrance in. No stuns. Not able to land a good keeper's verdict. And just dies right before the Baron is really bad. You have that dragon now up in 2 minutes. Gonna still have a little bit of overlap with the Baron, but Raiders pretty consistently in the lead here. They have pushing lanes, they have better side lane potential, they have really good siege with the Zig, so it's gonna be really hard. Phoenix need to hold on here and potentially turn the fight at that dragon. If they get the soul, I'm afraid that Raiders just run away with the game. I don't think that Phoenix will be able to hold it off for another, 4 or 5 minutes to get that Elder fight. The extra protection that you get from this Mountain Soul, from all of this extra resistances, I think for the Raiders is just going to be way too much to deal with, especially with only a Brand and a Jhin.
Yeah, imagine being Jhin in this game. You're staring down. Why are we pushed out here?
Dira, again.
Dira, why are we here?
We're talking about
Why
this.
are we here?
Please.
Why are we here?
Almost takes out Zebra in the 3v1. Manages to sidestep the Deadly Flourish, but yeah, nowhere near enough. A nice little knock up there from Zebra with the Keeper's Verdict will take him out. Dira just consistently walking up in the mid lane, and still only 4 deaths, right? One of the lower counts of this game, but all 4 of those have been very avoidable misplays.
Yeah, not only avoidable, but also very impactful, because without Dira, this Baron push kind of gets completely put on hold, as they are just kind of stuck in a position of, well, I guess we wait to fight for Drake, but they may not get a chance to.
Yeah, AFK Boulder backing up here, trying to run away, but maybe pushed a little bit too far up for the vision. Now Swedish Pancake's knocked up. The quickness in the Gand entrance is good. Masuf trying to maybe poke out, save his mid laner, but it's not going to be enough. S-Legend now on the bot side. Masuf watching for a bit too close, didn't have enough distance. Now looking for maybe a return kill, trying to get out, maybe looking for Soul and Bound, but it's not going to be enough. S-Legend, the only one left alive. Jira finally alive again, and it's going to be Phoenix who are able to actually secure The vision around the Soul off the back of that first pick off Dira, managing to pick up AFK Boulder when he was looking for vision and stops this now on the Soul Point themselves. And this is what I was talking about. Can never really count them out. One good fight, and they are back in the game. Baron not up for another 3 minutes, and sort of the game getting set back to this more neutral state. They're probably going to be able to push in, maybe get a tier 2 here, maybe an inhibitor, but they don't quite have the wave for it. So,
and the important thing to note is that they've had 6 grubs this entire game. So once they're able to get a good push going, they absolutely obliterate these turrets. Not to mention, you know, the demolish from Mundo and, you know, Jin as well. We've had a 3v5. They're taking it.
They're taking it. They're looking for it. A lot of damage onto Unkindness. Really good engage from S Legend, but the healing is just too big. And you can see Zebra with the Keeper's Verdict manages to knock back AFK Boulder, who's now back, dodging it, but doesn't manage to put the shield up in time, and it's going to be Dira stunned up. Now forced with a flash up, but it's not going to use it. The flash isn't there. Swedish Pancakes trying to find some damage, but it's not going to be enough to force any kills out. Zebra forced back into the jungle. Masuf up, so they can't really make any crazy pushes here. So the game's not over, but that could have been disastrous. Dira not using that flash, and honestly, with how many opportunities was given, I have to imagine it was probably a strategic play. Doesn't want to use it before the Baron, knowing that they lost that fight, and knowing that there's not really any return to be had, but really rough there. AFK Boulder not putting up a shield in time and leading to Dira taking that Deadly Flourish kind of cost them the fight. Dira was not able to kite back, got jumped on by the rest of the team. Really great plays here. A nice engage from Toad and a really nice Keeper's Verdict knockback right onto AFK Boulder to sort of bait it out. S Legend wasn't able to find any pick, and Raiders feels like they're maybe getting scared that this game is slipping out of their hands, making riskier and riskier plays when they really don't need to.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't necessarily know what the idea was behind the 3v5, because the push isn't happening. It's already stopped. You don't need to fight. So it doesn't really just make a whole lot of sense as to why they go for the 3v5, especially because their only damage dealer there was Ashe, and she was kind of stuck just full firing into Mundo, and unfortunately, Mundo now has a Thornmail, and even with the Bork, he's very hard to kill because we have had to pick up the Mortal Reminder here, so it becomes very tough. As you know, I mock the Heartsteel. We are now at 378 HP. The big value from the Heartsteel is it grows larger every moment. You look away and it just grows bigger, just like Mundo. It does increase the size of the gamer who wields it. So, yeah, the Phoenix are kind of just able to wrangle control of this game because Raiders are taking desperate plays for functionally no benefit. Even if the plays they go for work out, like that last fight they took, 3v5, what do they have left? They can't really push because none of their waves are in a good spot and there are no objectives up. So this is where we're gonna need to see a fight, and we need to see the Raiders play it well. Use Ziggs' range, use Dira's volleys, wait for an opportunity to pull that enchanted crystal arrow, and go for an attempted one-shot. Unfortunately, you can't land that onto Unkindness. You gotta find a better person to tag. They really need Masuf to find one of these carries in this next fight, and they can't let themselves get pushed back, because if they give over an inch to Phoenix here in the river, it's very easy for Phoenix to kind of maintain control and force the issue, because you try and run into a choke point against Brand, your entire team goes to hell, straight to hell, burned to a crisp, deep fried, exploded like a turkey in a deep fryer. It's no good.
No, turkey in deep fryer without practice has not been a good idea. I remember my uncle tried that a couple years ago. Did not turn out well. We stuck to the oven for the last couple of years.
You gotta know what you're doing.
You gotta know what you're doing. And if Raiders don't know what they're doing, Have Your Cat can absolutely lead to an insane punish here. And that giant lead Raiders had can suddenly evaporate. And we'll see. Dragon up in 20 seconds. Looks like they're just trying to buy time to maybe trade these objectives rather than just go for a big 5v5 fight. And it's actually going to be Phoenix moving it to the bot side of the river. They don't have vision on this. They'd have to go in blind. See if they just decide to trade or if they decide to walk in. They're checking the vision now. You can see the blue wards coming down and kind of still in that bush. Sweeper comes out. They see AFK Boulder, but they're not able to land any CC. Puts up the shield to block it out. Masuf and Dira on the side. S-Legend looking for an engage. And the two carries are caught all alone. Finally, though, Zebra manages to find an amazing Keeper's Verdict on the back. Dira forced in under the wall. The Keeper's Wall finds AFK Boulder. Dira down as well. Swedish Pancake's trying to kite back, but it's not going to be enough. S-Legend was forced out with that Keeper's Verdict. Masuf in a 1v5 is not going to be able to land it out. And now it's Swedish and S-Legend against the world. They have enough wave clear. They don't have that Baron, but this could still be the game. They are very tanky. Unkindness still has that maximum dosage. Still has all that healing. Zebra under tower now taking a lot of damage, though. Half HP. S-Legend still with the ultimate. Still with his flash. Can possibly turn this. They wait for that Mega Inferno Bomb. Maybe look for a big play there. That Keeper's Verdict was so good, and the Curtain Call is going to, the Deadly Flourish is going to be good. Switch Pancakes goes down. S-Legend, the only one left alive, has to maybe flash Curse Sad Mummy this wave to maybe find something. Manages to find the curse onto 4, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough, and that looks like curtains for the Raiders. Phoenix pushing in now, hitting that Nexus. Don't want to do any funny fountain dive shenanigans, and game 1 will go to Phoenix. In an amazing twist of fate, we're able to hang on long enough to turn that around. Really great from Zebra there. Their carries were caught out. They had no business winning that fight, but Zebra forces S-Legend out with an amazing Keeper's Verdict there at the end, and it leads to them winning the game. Great plays from the entire Phoenix to weather that storm.
Yeah, Phoenix did a very admirable job. I do want to point out one gamer in particular, Ruffian, was 1-7 at earlier in the game, ended the game 7-7. Once they got out of that early lane, the early laning issues, Ruffian was able to kind of put it back together. 0-6, excuse me. I'm being fact-checked live. So yeah, Ruffian was 0-6, and then proceeded to only drop one more death and flipped it back around on the Jhin. Got a triple kill, was able to start pumping out that damage, and really off the back of some very good Keeper's Verdicts from Zebra and Happier Cats brand, showing why this champion has been the boogeyman of the season, I would say. This past competitive split, the brand has certainly been a horrifying menace, and we'll have to see. I wonder what the Raiders have planned to deal with it, because they're gonna have to worry about that this entire series.
Yeah, and it's going to be really heartbreaking, I think, going into this. Having that sort of rug pulled out from under you when you really should have had this game is going to do a lot of mental damage. For Phoenix, it's going to feel rough, but feel really good going into this game too, that you were able to turn this around, knowing that if you do better in the early game, that you should be able to have this. For Raiders, they really got to go back to the drawing board, look what they did wrong there, what they could have done better. If you're able to get this lead, how do you transfer it out? And if you're not able to get this lead for a second game in a row, how do you win on an even playing field?
Yeah, we'll have to see. They'll have to answer that question when we get into game 2. We're going into draft in just a moment after a quick break. Welcome back, everybody, here for draft of Game 2. We're here, Raiders and Phoenix, once again. A massive turnaround off the backs of Happier Cat and Zebra, and some really good map play from Phoenix are able to sort of negate a very strong early game advantage from the Raiders and flip the previous game on its head completely. But it was very messy on both sides. So this game, both of our teams here are going to look to try and clean things up. We'll see who is going to come out on top here. And I'm curious as to what adaptations we will see going into this draft. Personally, I would like to see the Ashe get banned. I think that is smart to do. It is just such a good champion right now. The more I see Ashe, the more I'm like, dang, this champion's the best in the game. And the brand obviously going to get taken out here by Phoenix. They do not want to give that over to Raiders. So both of these teams don't want to give over these power picks that they respectively made use of in the previous game. As we have a Seraphine hover that will go into the Lady of Light, Leona, as our first pick. Very, very safe, understandable blind.
Well, Lady of Luminosity, at least that would be Lux. I don't know if that's the proper term. Yeah, it is the Lady of Luminosity. I was right. I play this game way too much. Why do I know that?
Wow.
But yeah, the Leona picked up first. I'm not surprised. Leona has been very strong, especially with its Warmong's Rush, just getting that online. So tanky when you back up all that health with those extra W resists. And it's going to be the Seraphine picked up for Phoenix here. I really like this pick. I'd imagine it goes to Happier Cat, who tends to play this pick quite a bit, but it could obviously be Flex still. Toad plays this a bit, but it's right now it's just sort of leaving it open, which I really like. I'd imagine we see maybe an ADC picked away here. Maybe a potential jungler. It's gonna be the Zeri potentially. Okay, we are gonna see the Zeri, the Ruffian Zeri.
Top lane. Pog? No, I don't think this is happening.
I do like this in the Leona though. It can be very rough early, but especially in those later fights, you combine the dash, you combine all that movement speed, it can be very hard to get away from that. It can be very easy to get away from that Leona. It can be very hard for Leona to sort of find something here. We're actually just going to pick up the Aatrox, sort of force you to pick that counter in the first rotation of top lane, which can be very good, very safe pick. If you don't, you're able to ban out those potential counter picks, which can lead to a very, very easy Aatrox lane. And the Amumu picked up for the jungle. So leaving their ADC in mid is an interesting strategy up here. And we're going to see the Garen potentially locked in. I like this.
I do.
Get that counter in early. Get the counter in early.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that is smart here because we see that top get locked in super early. Masouf's Aatrox, something that he has dominated on during the regular season and was banned last game by Phoenix on the blue side in round 2. Now available for them. They decide to not let it get banned again and are going to try and pick it up with the big team fight front line of the Leona and the Amumu to try and enable this raid boss to come online. But the Garen is a very smart response, and I think picking up the top lane here is good. It sort of allows junglers to potentially get pinched. These picks that would be very good into Amumu now may be taken off the table, but you instead prevent those good picks into Aatrox from getting removed from the pool here. So getting that Garen is going to be very advantageous here. It sort of trades back that advantage of the first round top lane blind, the confidence of the Aatrox there. Jungler is getting banned away, the Lilia getting taken out, the Ivern as well, getting taken away from Zebra. I did watch Zebra play the Ivern last week, and I think Daisy might be the best champion in the game. Daisy is a little too good is the problem. Fortunately, we don't have to see Daisy this game. I'll only see her in my nightmares, as Poppy will get picked up for Zebra as the a similar kind of response to the engage from Leona and Amumu.
Yeah, really nice there. I really like that. Just picking that up early, saving your Seraphine as a still potential flex. You know, your top lane, your jungler, your ADC now, but Seraphine could be going mid or support, which leaves a little bit of ambiguity for that potential Raiders mid pick. We already see the misfortune, so a very aggressive bot lane here. I'd have to imagine we tend to see probably a more defensive pick, potentially the Braum, potentially a more peel-oriented pick in the support role. So if I were the Raiders, I'd probably pick a Seraphine counter pick here and say that you're either sending that bot lane, our bot lane's gonna win, or you're sending it mid and we're gonna win mid lane, and you're not gonna get that support counter pick. We're gonna see the Hui. Decent into the Seraphine, not anything too crazy though, so mostly just gonna play it safe and try and wait to see where everything for Phoenix ends up going.
Yeah, Hui is gonna start blasting, just like in the TFT set. We'll have to see how the Hui is gonna do here in the mid, and it looks like we'll have the Morgana hover. I imagine that would be going into support with the Zeri, but technically there are still some flexible options here. Like, I don't want to put this onto the world, but what if we have Morgana jungle and Poppy support and Seraphine?
I don't know why you wouldn't put that onto the world. Morgana jungle is a very popular pick right now thanks to the burn. Is also extremely good into Amumu, I'd like to note. As the resident guy
could be Morgana mid too.
I was playing Morgana after she got nerfed back in Mage Jungler MSI. I was playing it before Faded Ashes. All right, you kids get off my lawn. That's how I feel about this.
Yeah, well,
Morgana never went anywhere.
Yeah, Morgana jungle is a very fun pick. It was a very fun pick too. I think Broxa played it in competitive in like the LCS. He just pulled it out, and I don't know how it did, but. I don't remember, but it was very cool to see. There was a period of time before the Faded Ashes where we saw the Morgana jungle as an option, but it also could be Morgana mid. That's not something that you can't see. I think it fills a very similar role as just kind of passively wave clearing into Hui and just making mid lane a very neutral experience, and then you have Morgana's great tools later in the game to help enable Zeri and Garen to go crazy. And I think what I find very interesting here, thinking about it, is that the obvious thing is, oh, we have double Enchanter to help Zeri. We also have double Enchanter to help Garen get in on the back line. You throw a Black Shield on to Garen, you ain't stopping him. He's getting on you. He's destroying your face. So I love that as kind of an extra option here. I think enabling the Garen is a very bold move, although obviously I think we're probably just going to see all the defensive abilities used on our actual carry and not the angry Demacian in top lane. But with that said, how are your thoughts on this draft? Who do you think's got the advantage going into the game too?
I'd like to say with all combo that's Raiders, but I kind of see where Phoenix ends up putting everything. I think having the Poppy in the bot lane is a much better move. I think if it's the Morgana, I think that Phoenix is going to have a lot harder of a time.
All right. So here's the rub. It is Poppy jungle, Morgana mid, and then Seraphine in bot lane. So Zebra's back on that Poppy. It is Happier Cats Morgana, as chat was discussing here. And then we have the Seraphine supporting the Zeri.
Okay. Don't really know how I feel about that 100%. I feel like Morgana mid is going to struggle into the Hui a bit. I feel like the biggest issue is going to be Seraphine and Zeri sort of weathering this misfortune Leona and Amumu storm in the bot side. Not too worried about top. Garen to Aatrox should be a pretty easy win for the Garen, especially early, even with Mumu Gang, especially if Poppy's able to be up there. But I think I'm personally going to give it to Raiders, although I gave it, all these experimental comps. Raiders even with that early lead, I don't know if they're going to end up taking it. They had it last game. They're able to make the adaptations, I think so. But based on the gameplay from last game, I'd say Phoenix. Even if Raiders are able to get a lead, this comp, if it's able to weather the storm, can annihilate pretty much anyone in the game. Zeri with so much damage, all the CC coming through, all of that defensive capability is going to be really hard to chew through.
All right. For me, I think I like Phoenix's comp. I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily have a great reason. I just have a good vibe. I've made up the story in my head of Garen supported by the enchanters going crazy on the back line, and that's the story. That's the truth I'm gonna live. Is that is how the game is won off the back of the loudest and angriest Demacian. With that said, we are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll be in on the Rift for Game 2. Stick around. It's going to be another exciting one for sure. So stay around. It'll be great.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game 2 of our 5-game series between the Phoenix and... Oh, it's getting late. Oh my god, the Raiders.
The Raiders.
I keep looking at it. I keep thinking of, like, Fallout, and I keep thinking, I'm about to say, like
the Brotherhood.
I'm about to say the Brotherhood, and I have to stop myself every time, because the Fallout part of my brain triggers, and it's like... I'm saying it between it's like the brothers, and I'm like, no, that's not the name, and my brain's just like, say it, do it, well, you know you want to.
The interesting thing is that this team, though this logo was used last split, but the team was called Hostages, and was it Hostages? I think it was Hostages.
That's wild.
And this split, they're now the Raiders, so you know, a little interesting there.
Jira's using the $200 skin. Everybody boo him. Boo him!
Boo! Boo!
No.
Yeah, now
I will say it does look really cool though. I'll give them that. I like that they're finally not just doing $200 chromas. Like it's actually like some new particles and like a bit of a different model and.
Yeah, I would hope that your $200 skin has more than just a chroma. I'm glad we've achieved the bare minimum. This is great news.
Truly, this truly was. That really was. It's so messed up. Toad walking in, very aggressively there.
But yeah,
both teams going for no crazy invades, no crazy starts here, and yeah, this is going to be the Morgana mid lane. Morgana mid is something that we see from time to time in solo queue pro leagues, but it's really one of those sort of off-meta, not super off-meta picks, you know, something that's, like, viable. If you saw it in solo queue, no one would really be dodging. Like, there's theory behind it. They can clear waves. You can CC. Meanwhile, on the top side, the Unkindness, not able to get that wave down, not respecting Masuf's damage. Gonna really have to rely on that Garen regen now. But as I was saying, sort of, Morgana's very... a lot of her power comes from clearing waves once she gets that sort of lost chapter. Very similar to things like the Seraphine mid, where you just sort of sit there, clear waves. You're able to put that black shield onto your carries, onto maybe your jungler for ganks. You're able to set it up if your jungler is able to land good CC, or if you're able to land a binding, it can be very deadly.
Yeah. Snagging a comment from the chat here. At this point last game, Raiders had a double kill in bot, so, you know... we'll see if they can do it this game. They're gonna try.
They are. The exhaust down now down onto Toad. Dira with the extra damage. Zeri going in. Rufian trying to find some damage, but now it might be Dira who's caught out. Zebra going in. Manages to get that red buff slow. Knocking back AFK Boulder, who takes the E. Trying to find it, but with no flash and no exhaust, it's not going to be anywhere near enough. It's going to be Phoenix starting the game off with first blood this game.
Yeah, good move from Zebra. Was... you know, clearing down towards bot side, deciding to try and protect that player, protect the bot lane this time around. Want that Zeri to stay very effective here, and so just decided when they were in that spot, they were like, okay, this is a good opportunity. Ran down there, punished the the extension of AFK Boulder and Dira. Very least, Dira was able to escape, so it could have been worse, but losing that first kill and kind of losing this bot lane here is gonna be a bit troublesome for Dira and Boulder, but it seems that they've turned it around here as we have a dive.
I'm kind of getting dove up on the top side. Masu trying to find something. S-Legend forced to flash out. They were not able to pick up a kill. Nice flash from Unkindness there to dodge out on the rest of that damage, but still needs to be careful. Masu is able to get a little poke there. They could still be in range, but Unkindness using that Garen regen to its full effect to make sure that just sitting under tower manages to dodge out on that dive threat, but still down CS. So not the greatest situation in the world, especially when you have sort of had that counter pick, but it could be a lot worse here.
Yeah, could be a lot worse. I think that was a very ambitious dive. I do like the idea. Unfortunately, they didn't give up anything, but Amumu did have to burn Flash, which is a little unfortunate, but Amumu doesn't necessarily need it, as now Unkindness is going to look to return the favor.
Yeah, good getting on to Masuf. The double knockup, trying to maybe trade something out onto Unkindness, but no flash, knows that he's dead. Not going to risk it at all. And a really nice regank there from Zebra to sort of counteract that original dive attempt from S-Legend, knowing that Masuf was low a bit off the trades, that Unkindness was flashless, so Masuf thought he was safe, but really nice punish there.
Yeah, good punish. And it will force out the TP. Both of our top laners will TP here, so no necessarily TP advantage, but unfortunately, despite the fact that that gank did get a kill and an assist over to Unkindness, the wave is in a horrendous spot for Garen, and he is not gonna get anything here. It will be pushing in. No, it won't be pushing in, actually. It's feeling a little frosty up here. Unkindness struggling a little bit. Is going to take some punishment now. We do have the World Ender on the Aatrox, so they'll have to keep that in mind. Meanwhile, we have the obligatory trade of first round objectives. 6 grubs going over to Zebra, and the consolation prize, that first Drake, will go over to the side of the Raiders here. At the very least, last game we did not have a Drake until Drake 3, so Raiders playing better around those neutrals than we saw last game. We'll see if they can keep that up, but you know, Phoenix looking pretty good.
Very
still.
Risky.
Yeah, Unkindness is in a precarious spot.
With no flash, it's kind of rough. Masuf at any point could sort of threaten this dive potential with the World Ender. Could be very scary. You can see Unkindness just sitting at 17 CS for the past like 3 or 4 minutes, just not able to pick up anything under this tower. Really scary, just not playing. Maybe thought this Garen was a little bit better into the Aatrox matchup than it was. Now Masuf finally threatening the dive. Unkindness dodges out, uses the Demacian Justice. Masuf able to pick up the kill though, and no flash invested. A nice 1-for-1, and the greatest part of all that, Garen has no TP. He's going to miss out on this entire crash, and that is going to slow shove back into Masuf, making this lead even bigger.
Yeah, the wave, watching it up here, it is going to eventually bounce back into Masuf. It's not bouncing back as quickly as you would hope, but yeah, it will move back into Masuf's hands inevitably here, and that is going to be horrendous for Garen. Fortunately, it could have been a worse wave state. I think this is manageable. It's not complete lights out, but Garen currently 30 CS down. Unkindness feeling the wrath of the Masuf Aatrox that other top laners have felt across the split, as an invade from S-Legend picks up a red buff, but yeah, no punish there. Yeah, Happier Cat unable to move. Masuf too far away.
Nice
Flash getting blown by Swedish Pancakes here.
Yeah.
That's pretty big, but Swedish is in trouble.
Yeah, Swedish is actually the one that still has the flash, able to flash out, but Ruffian might have been able to find the damage now. Looking under tower, but it's not going to be enough. Toad flashes forward, trying to find a little bit of extra damage, but it won't be enough. Flash invested there from the support, but not able to find anything. Really nice. Using that Spiraling Despair to force the Morgana out so that she can't walk in. Really, really good plays. But now Zebra used the minion to get in. Really smart there. Steadfast presence to dodge out on that first bandage toss, but the second one will land. Doesn't have Curse the Sad Mummy, so if they were able to get out, Zebra maybe looking to dodge over the wall, maybe find something, flashes over.
Yeah, makes sense. Just wasting time. Just wasting
time.
Trying to potentially
maybe the Keeper's Verdict! Buying time on the Keeper's Verdict, though!
Wait. Okay.
There's no way he gets out.
Zebra's a god gamer.
Unkindness is zoning Masuf. The jungler could be out. He can't go down.
No, he escapes. This is the greatest game. This is the strongest gamer I've ever seen.
That is some Ocean's 11 type stuff. That is crazy. Like the absolute heist, sneaking in under the tier 2, using the minion to get the kill, steadfast presence to dodge out on that first bandage toss. S-Legend had to use his ultimate to steal the red buff, so he doesn't have that.
Oh, yeah.
Able to buy just enough time for the Keeper's Verdict, and then gets out. What a legend.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I would have not seen that. I didn't see that timeline at all. This Zebra is on a different plane of existence than I am right now, and Unkindness may not be on a plane of existence pretty soon. Very low.
40 CS down at 10 minutes, forced to back on another crash or a threatened dive from S-Legend. Masuf gonna pick up more plates, and look, your Zeri's ahead, your jungler's ahead. It's all nice, all fine and dandy, you know, pretty even across the board otherwise. You know, Ruffian 20 CS and a kill is really, really nice. Dira now potentially getting dove. A good cleanse there, but the ultimate goes out. All ultimates go out as well. The bullet time used just to clear out the wave. The lightning crash not really going to find any extra speed or damage, but up in the top side, I think, is really the most horrendous, right? Getting even kills, but so much CS up, so many plates up, so much of that XP lead as well. You know, you're up about 1,000 golds, only about 400 in the bot side, only about 500 other places. Very reasonable, but that 1k gold deficit is not just the gold, it's also the XP you get, it's also all the pressure they've been getting. They're able to pick up this first round of grubs. They could potentially rotate down for the dragon if they wanted. Masuf is going to have TP at the same time as Unkindness, so it's going to be really, really rough to deal with that in the top side. Unkindness just not quite the counter pick you expected.
Yeah, he's struggling. Counter pick did not pan out. Sometimes this happens. The other guy is just a superior player, or just understands the matchup better than you, even if you theoretically have the counter pick. But what I will say, this looks pretty bad, and it is. But fortunately, if you're going to have a player, a champion, just become a melee minion, Garen's a pretty good melee minion to have. Because you can just send him into a side lane the entire game and try and play 4v5. And Phoenix are looking pretty good to play 4v5. I'm not going to lie. They're looking pretty strong.
Yeah, Masuf up in the top side, going for another dive with the help of S-Legend. Both ultimates out, but no flashes used. Unkindness had to use his. Really, really rough. Now pushing in the bot side. Because they weren't respecting, he tried to make a play mid, but nothing happened. So now Dira's actually going to be able to return it, get some of those plates, get some of that CS from Masuf up in the top side. And Raiders in a very, very good position right now, even if they weren't able to get that second dragon.
Yeah, and we'll get that second Drake. Masuf claiming the first turret at 1225. These turrets are actually super low, just across the board here. Both bot lane turrets down to a single plate. Mid lane is the only lane where the turrets haven't been touched. You'll never guess why. It's riveting gameplay here in mid lane. It's very exciting stuff, I swear. Oh, Unkindness getting a little bit of a look onto Masuf, but mostly just going to force him back. We do finally have the Tiamat assembled for Garen, so this will allow him to feel less bad as Ruffian's getting engaged on.
Yeah, Ruffian taking some damage here. Doesn't have the lightning crash popped yet. Now finally going to use it to try and maybe get some of that extra move speed back. Forced to flash out as well, possibly chasing this out. They know that Zebra's coming down, but now it's actually going to be Toad engaged upon. Doesn't have any more ultimates. Ruffian trying to keep it here, trying to maybe keep the speed up. 2 TPs coming out. AFK Boulder probably going to be dead to rights. Unkindness with all of that speed going down, but it's going to be Ruffian and Zebra looking for AFK Boulder with Zebra picking up the kill. Don't know if all of those TPs were necessary. It looks like Happier Cat actually got interrupted in the mid lane. Didn't put the black shield on in time and was able to get probably zoned back in by Suji Pancakes, who has to be wary of Unkindness up here. Maybe looking for Spiraling Despair, trying to bait it. Nice little fear there. So no worries there. Happier Cat forced to back off as well. And Masuf just going crazy in the top side. Now up that extra kill. Up. Looking for the Flame Horizon, if we're being honest. Going for all of these plates, all of this damage, and just waiting for this extra. That second, third item to just become a raid boss can do so much work in this team.
Honestly, I don't mind the Garen TP, because, like, honestly, what is he doing top lane? He's just dying in top lane. Might as well send him to the bot lane. Oh, we have... I know one of our players was lagging a little bit here. Let me open the chat. AFK Boulder typed top issue. Ruffian replied, same. Never mind.
Broken keyboard.
No, it was every player in the game responded same. So
that's okay. That's a way fun.
We're all having a top issue right now. That's why I was about to say something that I should not say. So I'm gonna leave that statement there about top issues. So looking at the game right now, as we are sitting on the pause screen, Looks like they're going to try and get back into it soon. We have a bit of a gold lead for the side of the Raiders. It's very much a top lane game. Masuf looking very strong. This is a 4v5, functionally. But I don't think it looks horrible for the side of Phoenix. Despite the fact they do not have a top lane. It could be worse.
Yeah. Hoping we get this back because Masuf does not come back. It is pretty disastrous. That's kind of where your entire gold lead is this game. And that cannot help mentals if there is not a reconnect. So hopefully we're able to get this situation settled here. I'm hoping it's maybe just like a small internet issue or a little bug, but
it looks like we're still kind of in the zone. So I think we'll throw it to a quick break as we wait for the players to resolve this issue. So stick around. We'll have hopefully this game coming back at you soon. Welcome back, everybody. We are here on the Rift again. Apologies for the technical issue. Top has resolved their problem. Masuf is back and looking better, bigger and better than ever, as AFK Boulder's not looking good.
No, it just stepped up a bit too far here. Toad with the punish on Kindness looking for it, but isn't able to find the Demacian Justice in time. Maybe thinking he didn't have enough damage and probably didn't. Really nice there. Managing to find a lot of damage onto AFK Boulder to potentially fight around this Herald, make it a bit harder, but have to be wary because Masuf just does so much damage here.
Yeah, a ton of damage from this raid boss Aatrox, so have to kind of respect it. And it is going to force Phoenix to play at a disadvantaged state. I mean, I don't think they expected to be able to play at an advantage here. We have a route into a puddle landing but from Happier Cat here. Just a little bit of poke. I don't expect a big Morgana solo kill. I don't think that's in the cards, as we do have a potential fight. AFK Boulder Wisp could be a target.
Yeah, it could be something. Zebra manages to knock back S-Legend so they don't have that Crystal Sad Mummy anymore. Masuf may be caught out on the backside, needs to take that Blast Cone out. Will manage to get it. The tower's still up for the defense, so looking for it. They're just trying to wait out the time. Toad with the charm, trying to find it. Masuf is 1v4, and the healing is insane, but he's forced to flash out. Finally, Unkindness popping the Demacian Justice, now looking for more S-Legend in the middle. Manages to find the 4-man Curse of the Sad Mummy into the Bullet Storm. Is so much. A pull back in, and the Rift. The Spiraling Despair from the Hui as well, looking for more damage. A W there onto Unkindness, and the stun finally getting that back up onto Zebra, chasing him out. The W's from the Hui are so much damage, forcing really bad positioning out of Zebra, who's just going to end up going down. Now finally, Masuf now in the mid lane, dropping that Herald, looking for some even more value off of the back of this play. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Happier Cat was able to trade out that tier 1, but really amazing plays there. Masuf doesn't go down to the initial engage. S-Legend with a 4-man Curse of the Sad Mummy was absolutely beautiful, and Swedish Pancakes with the TP to finish the whole thing off.
Big TP from the Hui and big Curse of the Sad Mummy from S Legend. This is why S Legend is, of course, a famous Amumu one trick in solo queue. Definitely doesn't play any other champions. Don't look at it. Only Amumus in for S Legend. But the rest of the Raiders did play very well there too. Masuf kind of absorbing all of that pressure, so many ultimates, so many players into themselves, managing to just survive off of the healing of the World Ender. And once the rest of the team were able to collapse, it was pretty straightforward, especially after S Legend lands that crazy Curse of the Sad Mummy and follow up with that bullet time. Without Happier Cat there to provide support, there really is no way to avoid that CC lockdown, and it was just easy pickings for the rest of the Raiders to clean that up. And importantly here, we actually had a lot of that gold invested entirely into Dira. Dira now 4-0-1, and I'm sure that nothing bad will happen to this gold lead that Dira has. I am sure that we will use this gold lead for good, and we will maintain it, and nothing bad will happen. Because just like last game, it's probably fine. We learn from our mistakes.
Surely.
Right? Maybe? Anyways, minute 30 on the Drake, 4 minutes on the Drake, minute 30 on the Baron. Granted, I don't think either team looks necessarily that good to go for an early sneak of it. I think if anybody's going to do it, it will be the Raiders, but I don't expect to see a super early Baron this game. Otherwise, we've reached kind of back to a little bit of a lull state here, as turrets are relatively even. Gold still in favor of the Raiders. That mid lane turret going over to Masuf was another big injection of gold that is already accelerating this Aatrox to superhuman status. But fortunately, Unkindness has been able to pick up some gold now. Is on that first item, still cannot step up to Masuf without threat of being killed to death. So it's just going to have to kind of play smart around the side lane, soak up as much EXP and farm as possible, and honestly just try and be a split push threat. I think that's the best you can hope for here, is, try and distract Aatrox from obliterating your team on a 4v4 fight. But then again, this 4v4 is not looking too bad for the Raiders, considering the tools they have.
No, and especially the Phoenix, I will say, for them, if they're able to get this Oblivion Orb onto the Morgana relatively soon and not just onto Toad, I think you probably do want it on those Morgana pools, especially given that there's going to be two major sort of life stealers on this team, and Masuf and Dira. And I think that Morgana kind of has to be in the fights. That can't really be your split pusher. You need to land that root onto Aatrox. That is your way to take him out. You need that CC, otherwise he's going to run absolutely rampant in these fights, healing so much, dealing so much damage, and you're not going to be able to charge that Zeri up in time. You're not going to be able to get this sort of damage over time that you need if it's all being healed through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really need heal cut, especially for the Aatrox, and this very heal-centric Misfortune build that we've seen very commonly. The Bloodthirster into Essence Reaver has been very strong as sort of a 2-item core. Meanwhile, Ruffian is sitting on 2 items as well. That's Static Shiv and Runons. Quite dangerous, but still a little bit of a pea shooter here, waiting to get that 3rd item before we really see the Zeri super threat come online. Minute 20 on the Drake now, as both of our teams are ping-ponging waves back and forth, just kind of trading evenly. Nobody stepping up unnecessarily. We'll have to see which team gets the first move. It looks like Raiders are going to get first step onto this Drake. If they get this will be Soul Point, and that is quite a good win condition for them to have, because this is another Mountain Soul. And Amumu and Leona would love to get those Mountain Souls in pocket. Though the extra resistances, especially on the Leona, are going to be so valuable as the game continues here. Especially because you're going to be fighting into Zeri, you want to have those extra resistances. It helps her. It prevents her from shredding you completely, just kind of shredding you. So we'll see what happens, as it looks like Phoenix are going to try and help Unkindness out here.
Yeah, everyone rotating up into the top side. Happier Cat, though, caught out in the bot side. Finally realizing what's happening, Masuf possibly looking for a shutdown. Happier Cat needs to keep running away, dodge over the wall, and manages to make it out. Now Masuf in a 1v4, looking for the damage. Unkindness manages to back out in time, though. Toad does manage to get the heal cut, but he still heals so much. Zebra finally backs him into the wall, and Rufian's able to get all the damage down with Zebra picking up the kill. Now 4-1-1 on this Poppy, going for a more fighter-oriented build, but that's going to be so
on a Baron.
Looking for the dragon. It looks like they're going to try and trade out the soul point for the Baron. Unkindness taking it up, and the rest of the team is here. You can see S-Legend already heading up to try and check it out. They see the wards down. They see that control ward. They know what's happening now. Zebra trying to heal. Managing to get that root down. That might be the play. S-Legend now silenced. Looking for the damage. Good curse of the Sad Mummy, but Happier Cat already popped that Soul Shackles. Is able to land it. Not able to land a really good pull, by the way, to make sure that that little extension from that Encore does not land onto the team. Now back onto the Baron. Masuf up in 5, though. Does have that TP, and they have to worry about that. Rufian over the wall, though, does have the Black Shield put on him. Maybe now catching him out. TP finally comes in. Masuf is in the fight again. Does not have that World Ender quite yet. Needs to buy just a little bit of time. AFK Boulder goes in, but Unkindness on the backside goes in. Finally, the World Ender gets popped. Needs to find this lifesteal, but the CC chains are too rough. Happier Cat looking for another route, but he won't be able to find it. Now turning back onto this Baron is only Dira and Swedish Pancakes left. The bullet time down, the Spiraling Despair still up. And if we know anything about play, it's how much damage he can deal.
Running.
He's
waddling.
He's waddling over. They don't have the insane objective damage, right? Morgana does so good damage. That's crazy. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. The crazy way damage to get this poke out, really good, and it's actually going to force Phoenix off of that Baron. So although the fight maybe not turning out in Raiders' favor as much as they would have liked, they still are up that soul point, and Phoenix were not able to get that Baron.
Yeah. Phoenix stopped from the Baron, but honestly, I don't think they're too upset about the kills they picked up along the way. They do trade a couple back, of course, but they've definitely put themselves into a better position here than they were, before that the Baron kerfuffle started. They did lose that Drake, and that Drake could come back to bite them. They will have to fight for that soul in about 3 minutes, and that is an opportunity that Raiders could take to try and, trade a Drake for that Baron. So if you're Phoenix here, you kind of want to try and, or if you're Raiders here, you kind of want to try and get that Baron before the Drake comes up, so you can, you get a little bit of both there, prevent the forced trade that you're going to have to make once that Drake is up, if the Baron has not been removed. Of course, we'll have to see what our teams decide to do here, what choices they decide to make. Looking to try and get a pick onto Dira.
Yeah, looking for damage, maybe onto something. The CC's not good on a Happier Cat. Some good damage down. Dira rooted up, so can't walk into anything there. But both teams fishing for something, maybe a little bit of a play, but with no objectives that are sort of able to be contested right now. Both teams just in a really good spot. Toad has to walk out, be careful. Not the pull, but the damage. Toad already at half HP, has to be very careful now. Rufian's slowed up. Can always go over the wall there. It's not a big worry, but yeah, like I was saying, the Baron is really hard to sort of contest right now. Neither team, a lot of this is like burst DPS, and most of your consistent damage is from your mages onto it, which don't take it that quickly. No. So you have to be really careful when you're starting an objective. And it looks like both teams probably just going to be playing around the soul here up in 1 minute and 30.
Yeah. Obviously, I think this soul, once it is on the table, I think it is a pretty good opportunity for both teams. Obviously, if you are if you are Phoenix, you do not want Raiders to get the Soul, because Mountain Soul is going to be very, very troublesome for your damage dealers to cut through. But giving over that Baron too, I think that in the time it takes to kill that objective, the Raiders should have the ability to trade that Baron over. So it'll be interesting to see how Phoenix decide to try and play this. If they decide to, you know, try and do a 2-point threat, maybe the Raiders opt into going for the Soul and taking the fight down there. Will they split objectives? It looks like our teams are going to be going for that fight around the Drake here. And I think a fight around Drake does favor the Raiders as long as they don't get caught out too early. We have a Hook getting stopped.
Amazing steadfast presence there, knocking S-Legend out of the fight just like last game. A really nice Keeper's Verdict there from Zebra. No other ults used so far, so has to be careful. Actually, Masouf did pop the World Ender at the start. Thought there was going to be something. And without World Ender down, that's really bad for Masouf. That's a lot of that extra healing and where a lot of that extra damage comes from. On the CC chain, the Encore onto 1. They're going to get S-Legend 4 chance of the Curse of the Sad Mummy. AFK Boulder trying to cut it out, but Ruffian is on there. Finally lands the Lightning Crash, going in, trying to find something else, but Zebra is slowed up by that Spiraling Despair. Ruffian over the wall into AFK Boulder. Getting rooted up now by that W. The Eye from Play is very dangerous. Masouf now, an amazing knock-up onto 3, but had to flash in. The Soul Shackers look good, but Masouf gets CC'd before he can do anything else. AFK Boulder already so low. Deer does still have that bullet time, but they're going to be turning their eyes to the Dragon now. TP is still up for Unkindness if he needs to back, but that Garen regen is so powerful. Dira might be caught out as Unkindness flashes forward, lands the Stride Breaker in the silence, runs in, spins on him, lands the Demacian Justin, and it is not even close. That is a certified Garen moment right there.
Revenge of the melee minion. Garen is not to be trifled with if you are a silly little AD carry. Excellent fight there from Phoenix. Gotta say, first of all, really good stuff from Zebra. The Steadfast Presence and the Keeper's Verdict sort of reset S-Legend, and unfortunately, they saw the bandage land, and Masouf hit that World Ender just a little bit too early. Oh, no.
No Smite Steal from S-Legend, just a little bit too late. Ends up smiting Zebra instead.
Yep.
No dice.
Yeah, no dice there. The Phoenix will get to have their cake and eat it too, as they walk away with both neutral objectives. Looking back at that fight, you know, the reset off of resetting S-Legend with that Keeper's Verdict into Masouf popping that World Ender too early made it very easy for Phoenix to start taking that fight. All they really needed was to lock down a single target. And between Morgana and Toad, they have so much CC'd that they can just make a player disappear, even if they are a tank like the Amumu. So it's very simple for them to just follow up on one good CC tool, throw all your buttons down onto that guy, and destroy them into the sun. And unfortunately, once S-Legend fell, you lose that Curse of the Sad Mummy, you lose your big tank, and from there, the Raiders just got split in half. And although Masouf did still do quite a bit of damage, he actually missed that Q3 off of the flash, which could have done something, but I don't think he was in World Ender, so I don't know if it necessarily would have been a world-ending play, as the Phoenix now are just going to be looking little safe here, as Masouf might get a kill, as we haven't got a fight.
Yeah, S-Legend going in, trying to find the Curse of the Sad Mummy, manages to find it onto Ruffian, who gets the double Encore. Toad with the nice Encore onto Dira, forced to flash out and use Cleanse Unkindness in Demacian Justice, not able to finish it off. Zebra now forced out, and all these health bars are low. Wasn't quite able to follow up on that Curse as much as they would have wanted. A really nice flash there from Ruffian. Masouf now onto Happier Cat. Manages to land the root, not pulled back, and is just going to burn down. Oh, the Sad Cat emo too. Nice from Happier Cat.
Solo killed by Morgana, Keck W.
Don't know about that one. Running on a straight line with no flash against Morgana with double burn items, probably not the smartest idea, gonna be honest.
Masouf, the mental warfare right here. Masouf was sitting on cloud 9 at the start of the game. 2-2, but was completely dominant over his lane opponent. Unkindness was functionally not a player. Now we are approaching 31 minutes. Masouf is 2-6. Hasn't accomplished anything in fights, hasn't been able to find anything, hasn't been able to split push, just got soloed by Morgana, trying to show that they are the Aatrox legend, and unfortunately, Happier Cat is just a little too good is the problem. It's very easy to land your abilities on targets moving in straight lines. You gotta get back into the game. I think that although the Raiders have definitely, punted this one a little bit, it's not unsalvageable. It's just going to be really tough to do so, and I don't know if this could be how they do it. Ruffian is pretty far away, but I don't know if the fight's gonna present itself. So
no, drag not up for another minute, so there's no reason to go too crazy here. Unkindness,
Unkindness is higher level than Masouf now, by the way. I just want to say that. I would just like to say that.
Not wonderful, my Masouf. AFK Boulder taking a lot of damage. Zero over the wall. Tries to get the knockback into the tower. S-Legend getting blocked. That Steadfast Presence taking out the first bandage toss. Really nice there. S-Legend not able to find a way in. AFK Boulder has to back out and now regen with this Warmogs. Really nice play there to try and get him against the tower. And Zebra really only using that Hex Flash, so it wasn't anything too crazy used. No crazy cooldowns. Ruffian just dueling out, doing some damage in the bot side, but doesn't want to step up too far against Masouf. Unkindness, meanwhile, looking for that tier 2 tower, popping the phase rush, running away. If he's able to land the Demacian Justice, he gets it! Zebra gets it too, knocks up S-Legend before he can get the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and that is 2 early kills for Phoenix. 9 seconds to this dragon. Raiders are not going to be able to procure this soul unless an insane steal presents itself. Meanwhile, now they're pushing into this bot side, looking for this tier 2, looking for as much as they can get. Probably not going to go for this inhib tower as they've seen it. They know that they still have a lot of wave clear up. Just going to look back towards that dragon. Really great plays there. Masouf over the wall. Just time and time again, started off really strong, but not respecting the damage of this team.
Yeah. Masouf just still thinks that Unkindness should be fair. They're Garen. That's fine. Just still thinks that they are like this superhuman, 100 CS up, unkillable god gamer. But unfortunately, it's no longer like that. Garen has caught up in items. We are now at parity in the top lane between these two players, and it's looking really, really tough. I suppose this is the counter pick. This is actually the 34-minute counter pick. It's a late game counter pick. That's what the Garen is, actually. Fun fact. I don't know if that's real. That doesn't feel real. I hope it's not real. Anyways, looking around the map, we have about 10 seconds on to the Baron. Scuttle will be picked up by Phoenix, so they will have that vision. There is a ward there, but that will likely get swept out once they step into the ring. No. Okay, there it is. We have now removed the vision. They're starting up the Baron. We have TP going down. They're going to try and fight this one.
Yeah, so Huge Pancakes, you can see already backing, trying to maybe get an item and then TP in, finally finished up with the Morello. Don't know if you needed the full thing, but they're actually forcing Phoenix off of the Baron now. Some damage onto AFK Boulder. Masouf just trying to fish for a root there, trying to land that chain and pull someone back in, use that TP. It's Phoenix with full control over this top side. Have to be careful, though. They're being split up as we speak. Mid lane's pushed in as well. Zebra now trying to get the collapse. Toad could find a really crazy encore angle here, but he's stunned. The CC is too bad. He needs to land the encore. Finally, it's onto one. S-Legend in the backline, getting onto Ruffian. The first kill goes down, but Ruffian is kiting back so well, able to take out Masouf. Masouf gets him first, though. Then the healing is too crazy. Zebra now needs to find him maybe into a wall. AFK Boulder trying to chase down as well. Happier Cat looking for the extra healing. The Zanias isn't good. The Soul Shackles weren't enough to stun. Dira now looking for it. AFK Boulder might get taken out by the burn, and there it is. Happier Cat uses that. Doesn't get knocked up, though. Has to be careful. Lands the root, but pulled back in. Needs to dodge out on that Q1. Is able to. Masouf able to find it. Unkindness, meanwhile, on the bot side, had to force himself back and maybe look for a split push here. Overall, the kills go in favor of Phoenix, but are not able to get this Baron control that they would have wanted. Really nice assassination there from Masuf onto Ruffian.
Yeah, a decent flip for the side of the Raiders, although they do end up dropping an extra man in that fight. They are able to kind of stop Phoenix from going any further there into the push there, into just getting kills and pressure. The Baron is still up, so that objective is still on the table, and they will have to try and contest it again. Masuf did complete that 4th item. Is now on a is super massive. Aatrox is huge. Unfortunately, it's just been really tough for Aatrox to get anything done here. Zebra has been so on point at preventing these engages from Leona and S Legend that it's just kind of tough to actually follow up on anything. If your primary engage tools can't set up for you to knock them all down, then what are you doing? So we do have a setup.
Yeah, amazing assassination there on the Toad. One-shots him before he can hit anything. Getting some good damage down onto Dira. Has to be careful. Really nice steadfast presence there from Dira. But an amazing play from S Legend, who goes in, gets a 3-man curse to Sad Money. Ruffian trying to kite out now, but flash forward from Dira is able to find him. It's only Zira and Happier Cat left alive, and the damage is really good, though. They have to be careful, and they're not able to get this Baron, probably, without some help. Swedish Pancakes and Dira can get good damage. Masuf's gonna have to tank it, but they have to be careful. Happier Cat still has that soul shackles, even if he does not have it. Oh my god, lands the snipe onto Dira. That bird is going to be crazy damage now. Has to be very careful. And they're forced back off the Baron. Even though S Legend has an amazing engage, and Zebra goes in, looking for Swedish Pancakes, has the damage, and the phase rush out is so powerful to just run away, baiting it out, forcing them back in. Really nice play there from Zebra. Doesn't have to use Zum or anything, just goes in, gets the dodge, phase rush, steadfast presence, and leaves. Refusing to elaborate on that one. Really nice.
Zebra's still going.
He's just trying to interrupt the backs here to try and buy more time. The soul is up in 15 seconds. This is going to be a massive team fight. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is not back up yet. The bullet time will be. Curse of the Sad Mummy will come up very shortly after the dragon spawns. They need to wait like another 10 seconds. The team is not there yet. They have to position around this. They have to be careful.
15 seconds. They have 15 seconds until Curse of the Sad Mummy. So Raiders at this point, they need to just try and stall, and instead they're walking in.
Yeah, and you can see Ruffian now finally with the rest of his team. A really nice W there to hit some damage on a Swedish Pancakes. Now Ruffian getting chased down by Masuf, but the Black Shield stops any knockup. The damage is good. There is no damage on there, but AFK Boulder taken out immediately. Zebra now onto Dira, trying to find anything. Ruffian over the wall, not packed pop the lightning crash yet. Masuf flashes in, able to find the assassination onto Zebra, and the damage is good. Manages to find the assassination onto Ruffian. Now finally going out to Happier Cat and Toad's damage, but it's going to be S Legend going in, lands the root. They need to chase down Happier Cat, puts him in the Black Shield on himself, and they're not able to take any more. Really nice plays there, and Masuf was not looking great towards that mid game, but is constantly able to find these flashes, find this damage onto the enemy team, and take out these carries. Now it's going to be Soul picked up for the Raiders. Really great plays here. And I think the big thing here was Zebra was not able to land that Keeper's Verdict onto anyone. It missed S Legend. The cooldown is completely wasted because he wasn't just charging it. Unkindness with no real target for the Demacian Justice, wasn't able to find value off that either. Is finally able to get this sort of inhib tower in the bot side, but really just a consolation prize, as having that Mountain Soul onto the Raiders when these fights have really come down to the slimmest of margins anyway is going to be really difficult for Phoenix.
Yeah, it's definitely... The Raiders have found themselves, despite the fact that they are still at a pretty sizable gold deficit, they've found themselves really back into the game here. They just need to make these plays happen. Unkindness may have found Dira just randomly here.
Yeah, caught out a bit, but maybe not. AFK Boulder and S Legend there to back up their ADC, so it's not too crazy. Dira able to get out without having to blow cleanse or flash or anything, but AFK Boulder might be the one caught out now. They don't have the Demacian Justice, but the damage is good. The Encore is only on to 2. Zebra here to knock one back. Happier Cat able to pick up the kill. Zeri not in this fight, though. Ruffian has to be careful. I'm kind of trying to regen out, and now it's Masuf Popping that though. The World Ender's running out there, able to get the CC. Really nice there. The lightning crash. They need to find Masuf. They managed to find it. Ruffian going forward, finding more damage onto 2. It's only S Legend left alive. The Zeri damage has officially scaled, but now S Legend onto there. The Curse of the Sad Mummy trying to finish off Toad. He's going to be managed to get it, but it's going to be Unkindness and Zebra to wrap up that fight. Now able to push it down in the mid lane. Very, very high death timers here. 20 seconds still on their support, and all the other carries, anyone with real potential to clear a wave, is still 40 seconds out. I don't think this is quite the end of the game, but this is at bare minimum an inhibitor. Really nice plays there from Ruffian, and didn't even have the flash there. Just goes over the wall, gets that lightning crash, gets that damage down onto multiple people. Really, really nice there.
Yeah, Ruffian just like right-clicked at, just lightning crash, right-clicked and queued at them and got a triple kill. Just no, like playing recklessly, but in an intelligent way. That wasn't like throwing their life away. That was Ruffian playing that fight optimally. Sure, they did end up dying there, but they did so much. Just took out so much of the HP bars, and I think a lot of that was just really smart fighting from Phoenix. They saw the World Ender go out, and they actually stepped back. They waited for it to run out, and then they
Masuf now.
But Masuf may have found an angle here. Keeper's verdict. Never mind. Escape artist Zebra slips away once again. You know, that's why Zebra's have stripes.
That ult will be down for the Baron, though, but also important note, AFK Bulger used ult and flash to try and get that. Masuf used his TP, so he can't find any flank TPs now. Zebra and Unkindness now walking up. That Baron has already started, and it is going down quickly, thanks to the Morgana and Ruffian's damage. Already at 5k, Zebra needs to find a way into the pit. S Legend now is able to see that the Encore goes out, the damage is good. Zebra looking to maybe stun him back into the wall, but Toad and Happier Cat backing off. Ruffian has to be careful. And the Baron's starting to regen back up, back at full HP. No Baron for either team right now. Unkindness, though, stepping a bit too far into the wave. Has to be careful. Running way too far. Has to... Okay, dodges out on that route, though. Nice plays there. Zebra has to be very careful walking in here.
Oh, nobody's here! S Legend's dead!
S Legend? S Legend, where are you going? Oh my god, is he going to make it out? Gets the Blast Cone. Possibly out. Now goes in. AFK Boulder looking for someone, maybe. He gets the ult, but isn't able to find anyone. It's actually going to be...
Wait, Unkindness!
Unkindness just ending the game in the meantime. Speech Pancake has to go back. Dira has to run back to try and clear the wave, and this should lead to a free Baron for the Phoenix.
Wait, we aren't taking the Baron! What are we doing?
Okay, I guess we're walking into base instead. S Legend is still alive, though. We have to be careful, but I'd say... for the terms of this game, I think training Unkindness for AFK Boulder is actually massive. AFK Boulder is your main way in. If you're able to stun the backline, that gives S Legend a chance to go in. If you're able to stun this Poppy, that gives S Legend a chance to get in. If S Legend doesn't have a chance here,
it's over.
Advantage toss, it's over. Zebra's gonna manage to find the smite. Now the damage coming through, the bullet time, trying to run away. Ruffian over the wall. Masuf popped the World Ender, trying to chase something down. S Legend being guarded off by the Steadfast Presence, and they're not able to find anything. Phoenix with the Baron, and an Elder up in 1 minute and 30 seconds, which I have to imagine is probably going to be the end to this game.
Yeah, this game is almost certainly going to be over here in this Baron window. And it's this Elder will very much decide this game. It's gonna come down to one fight here, and both teams have been playing very aggressively. They've been playing very creatively, I'll say, and because of that, there really isn't any guarantee in this game. Neither team is necessarily in a great spot. It is just going to come down to who can win out on the fight that matters. Masuf, Unkindness, both at full build, minus Zephyr. It's Ruffian at full build with Zephyr. Dira also at full build. Almost every player here is raking in dollar bills, and we may see a potential fight. S Legend looking for something, but can't really approach because of the Steadfast Presence. And this is the power of the Poppy pick here. We saw it last game, and this game even more so is...
Unkindness on the top side. They're going to collapse on him. They have to be careful. Unkindness needs to pop this phase rush, try and get out.
he's gonna be
AFK
fast.
Boulder, okay, uses the flash to get out.
The
Is
blue
able
card,
to
the
lock up that
minions,
tower.
Minions.
Careful.
Minions go.
Okay, S-Legend going in. The black shield on Ruffian, though, is able to
fair.
save him. Happier Cat goes into Zanya's. Into Stasis. Zebra finding way in. The Encore onto AFK Boulder, who now no longer has way in. Ruffian just firing out. Looking onto Dira, who might have stepped a bit too far forward, but it's going to be Ruffian with the exhaust now onto him. The stun is good. If they're able to land it, yes, they are. Ruffian with the W over the wall manages to find Dira, and the ADC is taken out. Swedish Pancakes on the run. AFK Boulder stunned up, and Zebra looking for the slows, trying to find this last tank. Goes in. The damage is good, but Ruffian is forced to flash out. Now Masu flashes in, isn't able to find that Q3. Now stunned up. Unkindness looking for the Demacian Justice. They're able to find him. It's only S-Legend and Swedish Pancakes left alive, but those towers are going down. S-Legend and Swedish Pancakes need to find a miracle, but with no Curse of the Sad Mummy, with no wave clear left, it's going to be Phoenix up 2-0, taking out the Nexus again.
Oh, almost a 47-minute slobber knocker right there. We have played some very scrappy League of Legends. Both of our teams here have been incredibly dangerous, winning in certain stages, losing in certain stages. Both teams not playing, we can't say that they are playing cleanly, but they are playing their hearts out here on the Rift. And I think, both sides, it's certainly heartbreaking for Phoenix and Raiders, for the Raiders here, is this is another game where it felt like they had it in their grasp, and it just slipped out so narrowly, and then they had it back in their grasp, and then it slipped out again. It's just a tragedy that you could not write. Truly, Shakespeare has nothing on the drama we create in the Blue Otter Draft League. And I'm allowed to say that. I'm an English teacher. So, man, what an exciting game. All I'm going to say is, if you're Unkindness, you're typing in endgame chat, top diff.
Yeah, very rough situation there. Masu with a really good early lead, just not able to transition that in the mid game. Found a lot of good picks towards that end game, right? That stalled the game out for a really long time, but really great pick. And I'd have to imagine we see the Poppy being banned out here, right? Ruffian played out of his mind. Happier Cat, so much damage and some amazing roots there. The whole team played quite well, but I think the unsung hero has to be Zebra. Those steadfast presences were amazing. I don't think there was a single fight where if that steadfast present was up, that S-Legend and AFK Boulder were actually able to get in. All of those initial engages were blocked, bought so much time, led to so much damage from that burn from Happier Cat, from Ruffian just firing out. Really, really great plays. And if you're Raiders, you have to imagine we can't let that through in Game 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the Raiders decide to do here. Their season is on the line. Their finals, their hopes of victory and winning the season are on the line here. Phoenix are one step away, but it's going to be tough to see. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and we'll go back to the drawing board too as we wait for our next draft. And we'll see what our teams draft up for us here in Game 3 after our break. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for Game 3, here for our draft. Phoenix looking to close out this series, and the Raiders looking to roll and bring us to a Game 4. Turn their luck around, figure out what they can do to tip the scales in their favor. They had a couple of rough games. Very back and forth. They found advantages, but were unable to convert further. And now they're back again at the whiteboard, trying to figure out what plan they can bring into this game. And before we went to break, you suggested that maybe taking out the Poppy was a smart idea. However, I do agree with the plan of removing literally Exodia. That is, of course, Braum, the best champion in the format.
One-man Exodia. Maybe it could replace the Ezreal, but I'm shocked that they're not banning it out. Going for the Seraphine B1 this game. Okay. I guess we're thinking that we're putting priority on that did not seem like the problem, but Phoenix running it back with the Ashe and the Leona, just immediately knowing what they want to do. They want to go in, they want to win early, they want to close us out. No more 40-minute, 50-minute games, no more extended plays. We are winning right here, right now. We are in a roll. That is what they are saying. They are daring Raiders to play into them. They are daring Raiders to play defensively. They are daring Raiders to play on this back foot and ruin any chance they have of coming back, of saving their mental.
Yeah, and we have
no way.
I think that we have a big gamer on the Rift. Shout outs to the current TFT set. We have a 5-cost unit on the board, and I think we're gonna see this 5-cost unit on top is what I'm gonna be saying here. Masouf has pulled out the gun. The gun is on the table.
Please God, have this be sold up. I would be so happy. And it's actually gonna be Raiders taking out the Poppy. This is really smart here, making sure that Phoenix don't get it because it was such a big issue in those previous games. Now actually having it for themselves to be able to defend this Seraphine and a Smolder, this sort of scaling comp. Also, please, I am praying. I am the Intel CEO right now. I'm writing scripture out. Please be Smolder top.
Oh no!
And the Ivern going through for the first time. You're gonna see the Phoenix pick up Ivern here to back up the Ashe. Already I can tell this is gonna be one of our more interesting games. Regardless of what happens, at least the draft was fun. Phoenix going all in on these carries here.
You say interesting. I see Leona, Ashe, Ivern. I don't know what part of that is engaging, other than, I guess, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow creating an engage to happen, and, you know, Daisy beating you to death with her fists.
Infinite Ashe Space Glide is entertaining to me.
It is very... You know what? That is true. Zebra has had this pocket Ivern this entire split, has gotten it a few times, and every time we've seen it, it has been insanely powerful. So I'm definitely excited to see Zebra on this pick here in the series. As now looking at the bans, we have the Camille and the Morgana. Happier Cat's Morgana has been put on the chopping block here, not available. Meanwhile, the double targeting of engage tanks, they do not suspect that this Seraphine is going into bot lane. They are taking out those tanks. So we have the Nico, another favorite pick from Happier Cat. We're just picking champions we like to play. Supported by the Ashe Leona core.
Oh, and the Anivia? This could be crazy.
Oh, man. I mean, Swedish does play a lot of Anivia.
They're actually going for the game is going to last an hour and a half, and then we're finally going to win. So much scaling, so much wave clear, so much buying time.
Don't say that. Don't say this game's gonna last an hour and a half and then we win and go to game 4. Oh no! I mean, obviously that would be very thrilling. I say Becky Rita at 10:25 p.m.
No, pick an ADC. Please pick an ADC, please. Wait, what?
What
wait, it is Seraphine bot. Oh, no,
They
do it.
picked Smolder.
It's Smolder top. It's Smolder top. It's Seraphine bot Smolder top. I can't say that on stream.
What's happening?
It's probably Sejuani top.
I
thought it was or not. I thought it was gonna be Seraphine bot. They were gonna send Smolder top. It was gonna be so cool because they already had the Anivia. No, man.
All right.
I was hoping. They played with my emotions. They played with me.
Here's the rub. Here's the maneuver. All right. We do have Seraphine carry, but we have to put it with somebody.
Oh wait, I wonder if it's Poppy support.
It could be Poppy support, and honestly, Sejuani support
actually
isn't horrendous. Seraphine pairs
into
pretty well.
Leona. I'll say this as someone who had a Sejuani only account for a while. Sejuani into Leona is unplayable. Please do not send Sejuani for Sejuani.
That's cowardice. You're probably right. I've never.
No, lest for saying it's unplayable for Leona. No, it is very, very playable for Leona. I've played the matchup many times. The problem is you get zoned out so hard on Sejuani that Leona gets free engages. You don't need to do it. You just walk up and stun the Sejuani. Auto cancel on every Zenith blade.
Let's
devolving.
Let's not get stun locked. Let's look at the draft.
I think this is Smolder top.
Yeah,
we're gonna wait to see what it locks in, but like,
yes,
I'd imagine it says jungle, right? Into the Ivern.
I think that it's definitely possible. Honestly, I don't like any of these champions into the jungle against Ivern. I think Ivern just eats all your camps for free. Oh no. Okay. I have some news. We have seen the top lane pick for the Raiders.
What? Give it to me. Stop giving me the suspense. What did Masuf lock?
But before we get there, we do have the Yone locked in.
I hate you
The Yone
so
is
much.
in top. So we have Nico being hovered in jungle. There's no way that's going to be Ivern mid. So yeah, we're just playing with emotions here in the champ select.
I imagine it was Yone top.
Yeah, Yone Ivern for the side of Phoenix. So yeah, Phoenix's roster is pretty much decided here. We do have the Poppy locked in for jungle for the side of the Raiders. I'm thinking, yeah, it is going to be the Anivia mid, and of course, I will not delay it any longer. It is, in fact, the Smolder top.
Yeah.
So we have Seraphine Sejuani bot.
Okay, so it is Sejuani.
Ash Leona.
That's interesting. I feel like something must have changed because at least when I was running it a couple seasons ago, the big issue was you just sort of get queued by Leona, and Ash is able, like, any ADC is able to keep your frost armor down and keep your passive down so that it's really hard to go in. Even though you always have like a really easy interrupt on the Leona E, you make it very easy to deal with that. It's still a rough matchup. I'd imagine with the Seraphine, though, to keep things at bay, to keep those shields up, it's probably a lot better than running it with something, say, like a Caitlyn. So that's very interesting. I see the theory behind it. I don't know how it operates with the new items, although Sejuani did used to build Warmogs back in the day. Like, that was the core Sejuani item, and that's like the best support item now, so that's not very surprising. Like, for the longest time, you just built Warmogs on Sejuani because of her passive.
Oh yeah. Warmogs is pretty effective. So with everything laid out here, I obviously the Raiders have put together a composition that says everything is on the line here, and unlike in, I think it was our first week of playoffs when we were hoping to see the Zeri top and didn't get that. Unlike that first match, we do have the promise that you have given us. Smolder is top lane. With that said, what are your thoughts? Does Smolder have the juice?
I want it so badly too. I'm seeing the Sejuani support in the Smolder top, and I can't help but root for Raiders. Like, I have to give it to them. I want it so badly, but I'm gonna say Phoenix so I don't caster curse them.
Well, unfortunately, I very obviously I get the theory. I see the theory. I see the lines. I see what the Raiders are cooking. I think it's not good enough. I don't think it's going to be good enough. So I personally will go again. I will agree with you. I'll go with Phoenix. It would be very cool to see this Smolder top deliver, but I don't think we're going to see delivery this game. Instead, we're going to see DiGiorno's put into the oven by Zebra and friends. With that said, we are going to be going to a break. When we come back, we'll be in on the Rift. So stick around. Coming at you soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 3 of our 5-game final, best of 5 final, between Phoenix and Raiders. You can see Raiders stacking for a potential invade, don't want to take anything too risky. Possibly invading, though, if they can get a nice little charge on there. You can see
30 seconds
Ruffian and Toad already walking up. They're not going to spot this out on the vision yet. Walking in, Happier Cat won't spot it either, going all the way around. See if they can find anyone. Interesting team comps already. 3 TPs. Can see it now. See, is Happier Cat gonna spot
they're walking
something
into
out? They
Happier
don't see it
Cat.
out. They see Happier Cat now, and it might be a little bit too late. AFK Boulder goes in, finds the root down, but no follow-up from Dira. The Ignite goes down, flashing forward from AFK Boulder. One more auto might do it. I think he's gonna be 1 tick off, though. Nah, I think it was 2 ticks off. But close. If anyone else flashed forward for the auto, they might have been able to get it, but not quite. Happier Cat flash forced out, but AFK Boulder now with no sums into the Ash Leona lane is probably going to be a bit of a rougher start. You can see them taking the safe path back to lane though. So
yeah, they're not gonna fall for the trick, the secret trick this game. Yeah, they'll walk back to lane. Definitely unfortunate to blow both of those sums there. Did get the flash off and TP off of Happier Cat actually. As AFK Boulder does not care. He's gonna try and fight this level 1.
Yeah, and with no sums, not a great idea. It's going to be Toad picking up first blood with that Ignite.
Why did
And
we
this is
do
sort of
that?
what I was saying about this Eshwani. You just get stunned by Leona if you're not careful, and that was definitely not careful.
That was the opposite of careful. I don't think like you could. I don't. I have no words. I don't know what the thought process.
No,
was.
that's fair. I don't think you need words for that one.
In my head, I'm thinking like you don't have 1v1 power. You have Seraphine. You don't have damage because you don't have ignites. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially considering how strong Ashe is at level, in these early levels. So, you know, we'll see if this a little bit of an early blunder, but it is always recoverable. And importantly, Toad did get that kill, so the gold didn't go over to Ruffian, which is silver lining. We did get an assist over, but it could be worse as trade. Swedish Pancake's taking quite a bit of damage, but does have the egg for that little bit of insurance and security as AFK Boulder's going to walk up.
Yeah, it takes a lot of damage from Dira now. AFK Boulder forced to back up. Flash forward from Dira to get some extra damage
All right,
down.
we do have S Legend going to be walking
up. Oh, no, nothing quite. The Ivern with the root collar, not quite landing that out. Are you there? Uh-oh. Not great, yeah. The stream quality is great. Okay. Nope. I can see things in. Okay. Well, that's not great. I guess I'm doing solo cast right now. Shouldn't be too bad while we await the Becky Rita return. Can see an invade here from Zebra, just trying to look for something. Putting those down, trying to maybe steal something, but not quite able to do it. S Legend is there to sort of back him off, make sure that nothing can happen. You can see in the mid lane, Swedish getting hit a little bit hard, but when you have the egg as the insurance policy, you're allowed to play a little bit recklessly, and that helps a lot for Nivea's early game, which is, as many people know, quite weak. A lot of what you do is in the late game, you press ult on waves, you just eat them, you position, you can do a lot of damage with that BE, but early on, you use so much mana, you don't have your main tool to clear the wave, and you can see Happier Cat finally getting that egg popped out. AFK Boulder is here, but he hits the clone. Happier Cat just gonna run away. Get that egg, though, which is really nice. That's gonna give Zebra potential options to go in, maybe look at a gank here, but for right now, nothing else happening.
All right, am I back? Hello?
You are back.
Excelente.
A little bit of that middle of nowhere internet right there.
Well, it's been a little bit spottier recently, but could be worse. You know, it used to be a lot worse. It's just sometimes these things happen. Well, that's all right with me. And looking back at the game, it seems like not a whole lot has happened, but we do have a fight in the mid.
Yeah, a nice little root collar there on the AFK Boulder, and the root and Q from Happier Cat. Really nice damage there. AFK Boulder just walking up a bit too far consistently in these fights, not respecting the CC chains.
Yeah. Yeah, again, the Leona... Yeah, not the Leona. The Sejuani does have a lot of really powerful tools.
This Legend maybe into the wall, but gets rooted up first. The root collar also lands, not respecting the Ivern damage. Now has that magic on his passive and forced to flash out. Flash for flash there. Now in the bot lane, a dive coming in. Dira has to be careful. Needs to get this shield. Needs to try and root up Ruffian. Still has it. Using the shield. Manages to get good. Gets two. And the dive is not good. A double kill for Dira, who's able to trade it out there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Happier Cat able to punish Swedish for not having that egg anymore and getting so chunked out. AFK Boulder maybe trying to return something. Does have the flash and the ignite. Uses that ignite early, but the Pop Blossom goes out to give Happier Cat that knock-up potential. Zebra with the shield, and he is out. Really great plays there from Dira, too, who's able to get that double and TP back with that full lost chapter.
Yeah, Dira getting a pretty sizable turnaround in there on the bot side, and that is certainly good to see. In the mid lane, though, Happier Cat does scramble Swedish Pancakes, and that is pretty unfortunate for the Anivia. Without her egg, she does still have both of her sums, so it's not like she's completely defenseless, and I think having still keeping the flash is pretty good for Anivia. She really depends on that as this extremely slow, immobile mage in mid lane. As Boulder is going to try and make something happen, but I don't know if we have the damage. Poppy is around.
They're waiting on S Legend here. Ruffian uses that enchanted crystal arrow. Dira flashes out to avoid any more damage. Now Ruffian's stunned up. The damage is equal. The Encore barely misses the cleanse, and Ruffian gets taken out. Now Toad on the back foot, trying to run away, needs to wait out this flash. Gets stunned up though. S Legend needs to get him into the wall. The follow-up from the Seraphine is good and lands the root. Really nice play there, and that is another reason why this works so well, because you can chain off that knock-up, off of those slows, off of so many things to get that extra value off that Seraphine E to get roots and stuns when you don't need to get like rallies or anything.
Yeah, it's certain. Mom. Hi, Mom. Mom getting called in the top lane as Zebra gonna be walking up, gonna try and stop this Drake. Will successfully do it.
Yeah, pops the Daisy early to make sure it happens. Ruffian running in there to get the vision and the damage. They're chasing forward, maybe find something else, but without any enchanted crystal arrow, there is no fight to be found. Making sure the dragon doesn't fully reset. They're going to try and grab this here. You can see them clearing out the wards now. And S Legend is not going to risk the Hex Splash over the wall. Just going to give that one over. Phoenix pick up first dragon.
Yeah, Phoenix will pick up the first Drake of the game, despite the fact that the bot lane is tipping in favor of the side of Raiders once again. You know, Dira currently 4-1. Surely we will not. Surely this game will be the one where our 80. Oh no. I mean, obviously, Seraphine is a different champion from the actual 80 carries, as AFK Boulder is schmoovin'.
Yeah, flashing forward there. They know S Legend is down here looking for Ruffian. Stun him into the wall. The knockup is good. Dira with the root. Needs to find a little bit more. Doesn't have the Encore up quite yet. S Legend running forward, trying to find a little bit more, but stunned up by Toad. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow buys him a little bit of time, but not anywhere near enough. Toad now stunned up. Dira with the damage. 5-1-1. Needs to get one more. S Legend with the kill. Is going to be able to pick it up, but the shield won't be able to save him. The Ignite and the Tower picking him up. Toad with the return kill. But a really nice 1-for-2 down there on the bot side.
What did like Ruffian assault the Raiders like enemy team? Like did he like call them names? What's going on? Why has Ruffian been so heavily targeted? I mean, I get it. Targeting bot lane is a good strategy, especially considering Ruffian has been a very strong player throughout the season, and this series has been kind of put on ice, so to speak, as every game it feels like it's just a further and further suffering of Ruffian, as Masuf takes quite a bit of damage from Unkindness in the top lane.
Up here, though.
Yeah, Legend's around.
Sure. Yeah, no gank, though. Just wants to make sure that the top laner isn't getting too heavily punished. And against any other opponent, I would say, like, This is what you hate doing. You hate letting Yon get free farm. You hate not being able to punish him. Meanwhile, I might have just cast a curse to Masuf. Not into yet. There we go. Getting out of there. Unkindness still has the flash, so he has to be careful. Getting a lot of poke now. The wave gone. Not anything under tower, but S-Legend is here trying to knock him in. Get more of that damage. Just have to be careful, though. Unkindness does still have ways out. Still has that flash. Means still in that knockup. Looking forward and manages to get out there. Zebra going up for this, popping the Daisy to maybe find S-Legend. Masuf already TPing back. While getting out here, though, doesn't want to get anything too crazy. They know just how much damage Ivern can do. Ooh. Forcing the flash out of S-Legend. A really nice Enchanted Crystal Arrow there. Ruffian now changing under tower. They're just trying to push it in, back him off. They're zoning it, seeing if they can get something. The Sejuani and the Anivia finally rotating up. Can Swedish do anything? Zebra tanking it up here, but he gets caught by Swedish Pancakes. Now S-Legend on the return. Ruffian takes another tower shot, but he's still alive. Swedish fausting forward. Manages to find two. Now AFK Bolter up here to try and find Toad out. The Glacial Prison lands. The Glacial Storm also doing a ton of damage. Both Glacial abilities out and Toad running for the hills. The Ignite is down. Swedish Pancakes just needs one more ability, and he's going to be able to finish it off. 3 for 2. Really good idea to dive up there in the top side, but not working out as the team's already there on the rotation. Meanwhile, bot side, Zira might have bit off a bit more than he could chew, and Happier Cat picks it up, now going 3-0.
Yeah, it is certainly a bloody game here as Unkindness looking for a little bit more smoke. Both teams throwing themselves at each other under turrets. Turrets are a non-factor. What matters is you kill your opponent. And honestly, like, Phoenix are playing very fast and loose this game, but it hasn't necessarily been horrendous for them. Certainly their bot lane early on was struggling a bit, but I think that play around topside actually really helped Ruffian and Toad kind of get back into this game, you know, shake things up, get them out of the hole they were in bot side as they were getting kind of turbo targeted, and get a little bit of momentum back in their favor. And Happier Cat as well has been playing very well. A very consistent player this series. Happier Cat has shown her skills across a number of different champions. As the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, not quite a wonder shot, but we do have an engage.
Yeah, Swedish Pancakes getting hit up by that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but now it's Toad under the tower and the root back in. And this is the combo that we saw, the intentional of the Anivia wall into Poppy Stun combo, which is really, really strong, forcing Toad to take way more than he should have, and a really nice pickup there. And what I was saying before that sort of dive in the top side is, against any other champ, you know, the last thing you want to do is let Yon free farm, right? Just say, yeah, take CS, you know, you can carry. But on the Smolder, so long as, right, like that dive, not great, but if you're not taking infinite deaths, if you're not getting zoned off CS, you're fine to just let him scale, because you know that you scale harder. And see, this dragon now started up here. Happier Cat is here, does have that flash, does have that Pop Blossom. Does have to be very careful, right? Unkindness with TP, Masuf does not. So it looks like they're just going to give this one away. Don't want to risk anything here. Just getting the damage that they can and backing off.
Yeah, backing off there will claim that Drake. Phoenix now with 2 Drakes up, all 6 grubs as well. The Raiders not getting a whole lot in terms of neutral objectives. S-Legend has been having to put in a lot of work kind of shadowing this bot side and trying to support, you know, Smolder up in the top side. To where these neutrals have not really been in a favorable position for S-Legend to claim. So,
Zebra, that is accelerated. We just covered on that. That is 124 Dragon Practice stacks at 14 minutes. That is really good right now.
That is
especially after the dive. Usually around this point you want to be at 10, so you would want to be at like around 140-ish. But given the dive and given the amount of crazy stuff that's happened towards the top side of the map, I'd say this is more than great here. You can see, I believe he probably should have hit 125 off that wave. Now gonna have that AoE up to help clear those waves even more. And just 100 away pretty shortly from that execute, which is really where Smolder comes online, right? Just getting all the gold from these fights. Meanwhile, Swedish Pancakes might have been got out The wall to block off Ruffian, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow keeping him stunned up. Gets the ult off, does have the egg. S-Legend and AFK Boulder here, rotating up. The Glacial Prison, perfectly cleansed. Amazing play there. Swedish Pancakes does eventually go down to Toad with the Ignite. Now Happier Cat goes in with the Pop Blossom, catches him. S-Legend not able to flash out in time, gets a little bit too far in. Toad trying to go for maybe a little bit more. AFK Boulder just stopping him from doing anything. Masuf trading some damage in the top side, but has to be careful about Unkindness, who still has Flash. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Dira has just been hitting that tower away, getting some CS, getting them extra, but it's going to be 6 grubs, and now the Herald started up for Phoenix. Masuf just clearing out these waves, but potential for a dive. Toad up here needs to land something, but knows that if he dives a little bit too deep, it could turn into a double kill.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that mid kill went over easy for their taking out Swedish Pancakes, but it was still very successful for them, and most importantly, they were able to go back and secure that neutral objective, the Herald, in pocket for themselves, as they now have 6 grubs, a Herald, and a very angry, edgy swordsman, who will be looking to make the most of these grubbins, tearing apart these turrets and making things a lot less safe for poor old Smolder, who can be absolutely obliterated in an instant by a properly executed Yone combo. But we'll just have to see if Unkindness decides to go for that. And the Raiders I think are making the smart choice and kind of, again, shadowing Smolder up here, preventing Unkindness from taking that kind of risky engage. Masuf is going to be a major point of power for the team, but across the rest of the map, we have Grubbins in the mid, as now we have a dive onto Unkindness.
Yeah, Unkindness getting a lot of damage down, but a nice little knock up there to actually dodge it out onto Masuf. Amazing there. Was very worried for a sec. Zebra now way too deep under enemy lines. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow does go wide on Swedish Pancakes, but Ruffian is down here. Zebra not able to take enough damage in time, but with no cleanse, AFK Boulder going in, lands Glacial Person, the Encore onto 2, and the damage is good. Ruffian needs to back off, but it's not going to be enough. Zero with the Q is able to find it. Now Toad, Happier Cat, and Zebra all running away, but AFK Boulder is a bit too low to continue the chase. Has to be very careful here. Glacial Storm, good onto Toad. Trying to find damage, but just a little bit too many resists here.
Yeah, this Leona's a little too tanky. The shield is just so powerful.
TB though from Masuf going in, trying to find it, gets hit with the Root Collar, and now it's Toad stuck in the middle of 3 people. The TP now from Unkindness, trying to find AFK Boulder. Masuf might have been caught out by that Pop Blossom. The Calling Mom gets the heal down. Toad is still alive here on the backside of the fight, finally taken out, and Masuf is all alone on the back of this fight. Happier Cat getting the root. No, barely missing on that one. Zebra trying to back his team up. Masuf might have gotten out though. We'll see, but now spotted out on the vision. Zebra might be a bit too far forward as Legend finally joins the fight. And this is an absolute festival of madness here. Ruffian finally taking it out with the W. Unkindness looking for some more damage. Just channeling these recalls now. Has to be careful. And the walls looks like it's going to be able to save them any more strife. But with 18 seconds on the drag, Phoenix are in an amazing spot to take it.
Yeah, Phoenix currently looking pretty solid around this next Drake. Although the HP bars aren't looking very good, so a couple of these players will have to reset here, but with Ruffian and Toad both looking pretty healthy, I think they'll be able to at least maintain position around this Drake. Unkindness already is opted into heading down to the bot side, as we've all realized how important this Drake is. Getting the Soul Point for Phoenix is going to be a major pain for Raiders to have to deal with, because they have this is our 3rd mountain, by the way. 3rd mountain of the night. If we go to game 5, can we get 5 mountains? New objective. 5 mountain Drakes, as this 3rd Drake is just going to be very easily secured for Phoenix here. Raiders not really in a good position to try and contest that. Despite the couple of recalls, Ruffian and Toad just being around there was enough to dissuade the side of the Raiders from stepping up any further. And now, as we look a little bit further here, Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes... so that's a wonder shot there, as it goes up to the top side. It's a longer cooldown hawk shot is the thing. It gives vision. probably. Masuf might be in a little bit of danger here as Toad's going to approach, and Unkindness is here.
Yeah, Masuk might have been caught out. Unkindness doing a lot of damage. Masuk over the wall, but gonna get tagged up by that bait shield there from Unkindness. Taken out again. 0-4 and 0 on the Smolder. Not working out quite as expected after this. Nice plays early, was able to stave off a lot of the pressure, but now that the team fights have started happening, it's really rough. You are still an ADC. You are still building ADC items, right? So you're very vulnerable in these side lanes, even with that XP advantage. Nice little steal from the Gromp there from Unkindness. And S-Legend is really far behind here in gold. Going for these tank items, obviously Ivern is able to build these sort of enchanter items and get a lot of gold value just by having all of these cheaper items. And by having all of this pressure now, it's really hard given that Poppy can't really take camps. It's very difficult to sort of play around this when you know how much pressure your team has. We're already on soul point for Phoenix. Baron is up, so both teams need to be very careful now and wary of what's going on around these objectives. Your team taking a lot of damage here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, and AFK Boulder might be caught. Does have that flash.
Mom's here.
The mom comes out.
It does nothing.
A little bit of cover fire, but not anything crazy. The Redemption popped down. AFK Boulder is very low here. Needs to back off. And you can see we're actually going for the Locket because we were so far behind early on. The stun comes out, though. Toad looking for AFK Boulder, but the shields are huge, and the heal comes through. Phoenix now with full pressure, though, and Unkindness in the bot side. They might just look for this. Okay, Zebra walking way too far forward. Forced the flash out. Gets rooted there. The root from Happier Cat, though, getting a lot of damage. The root caller as well. Takes full top loss. Sorry.
A lot of damage. So much damage coming out from Zebra and Happier Cat there as the Baron will get started, and they waited for the vision to drop, and now they're just very much able to take this. Their vision control over the top side jungle is impeccable. There is no way the Raiders can approach, but they are going to try to. We got 6,000 help onto the Baron.
Encore and Glacial Prison still available. They do have all these options.
But the only two people here, nobody else.
Legend goes in, needs to find it. Are they going to find the Smite Steal? No, he's not. The Glacial Prison is good, though. Masuf doing the damage. Jiren needs to find an Encore angle, and here it is. The Encore onto 4, but it's not going to matter. They don't have any team left to help them. Dragon's up in 2 minutes, but so many objectives down. You have the Anivia to buy some time, but against the Baron waves, it's going to be so hard, and Phoenix are going to start pushing in. Don't think this is quite the end just yet, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow might make me regret my words. Swedish Pancake's taken out, goes into the egg. The damage is good, and Unkindness goes right back in with no deaths. AFK Boulder left alive. S-Legend up in 5, but Masuf and the rest of the carries aren't up for another 15 seconds. They're pushing in onto these tier 1s. They have the game in their sights. Phoenix pushing in, looking for these tower. AFK Boulder and S-Legend barely trying to hold on, seeing if they can do anything, but they're going to focus down the Nexus, doing the damage. The Locket comes through, try and find anything, nothing, and it won't happen. AFK Boulder goes down, the Nexus goes down, and Phoenix are your Sapphire champions with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, as it turns out, giving the enemy team full comfort, very much comfort picks across the board, along with a very powerful duo in bot, was going to lead to a bit of a mismatch there. While it would have been fun to see the Smolder deliver, unfortunately, the Smolder did not much more than simmer and fizzle out as the game continued. 0-5 and 0 on Masuf up there. Very powerful stuff. We will do an interview with the winners, which is great news. So we will figure that out, who we will get in particular, if we want to grab everyone, or just grab Toad. We'll go to a break, and when we come back, we'll have somebody here for an interview. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with our Blue Otter Draft League Sapphire Division champions, the successful, powerful Honeycombs. Definitely not Phoenix. Ignore the logo, ignore the name. Definitely the Honeycombs, as the team determined earlier in the split for some reason. I don't think I ever actually figured that out. And you know what? I don't want to know at this point. So it's not necessary. It's not necessary. So first of all, congratulations on your win. Congratulations on a rather successful playoffs, I would say. 2 3-0s, although the games were very scrappy. Certainly a little scrappy, especially this series. Bot lane was thrilling. So let me start with you, Ruffian, in the bot lane. And I guess you can jump in too if you want to, Toad. When you're being so heavily targeted like that, what's kind of the mindset? How did you find yourself, getting back into the game? Because you did a good job pulling yourself back despite the crazy deficits, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we started the first game like 1-8, and then I pressed tab and I looked at my team's nameplates and remembered that every game was winnable because we're all awesome, and we just kind of wait for, especially the first game with like the Gen W, and we have I forget the draft. I'm not gonna lie, but we were looking for picks the entire game, and we got like 6 in a row, and then suddenly the game is 40 minutes, and the game's the early deaths don't matter, and we have 0. So
yeah, it was the brand with the Gen.
Right.
I think the series against Spuds kind of turned out the exact same as this one, except we were more behind this one, like this series, and we were confident. We were confident after the Spud series that we could just like win macro game and then just beat them, and that's what happened the first 2 games, for sure. I guess all 3. We kind of just got destroyed all 3 games bot lane.
It was pretty bad.
We'll lose lane, win game. That's all that matters.
True. Nameplates.
True.
All right, Knock Sarah, what have you got?
So yeah, this one goes to Zebra. What was going through your head in sort of these games, picking these more supportive picks, right? Because I paid attention, you had all your carries, great scores, doing a lot of damage, but as sort of the unsung hero of this, right, is some great scores, yeah, but I don't think people quite realize just how impactful we were, especially on that Poppy, that they had to start taking it away. Those steadfast presences, just blocking every initial engage, making it so hard for them to get in. And then on the Ivern, just zoning in jungle so well, taking the objectives, really playing this sort of tank and supportive playstyle more than having to sort of be the hero. What was that sort of like going into those games, knowing that like your main purpose was just to make sure to be that wall that people couldn't get past?
Wow. So, well, my honest answer about playing only support champions today is my pack loss has been horrible, and I can't play any mechanical champions. But fortunately, I'm pretty good at support champions as well. Ivern's my best solo queue champ. And also Poppy just counters like so many comps. It's insane.
Steadfast presence is a great ability.
I'm just always surprised how many teams leave it open, and I think they forget about the pick a lot of the time.
The packet loss.
Oh boy,
we're hearing the packets being lost
packet
right
loss.
now.
Yeah, I'm not lying about the packet loss. If you can
He's been
right now.
assassinated.
it's so bad.
The CIA is hitting you with the lag gun. It's all over.
Can you hear me now? Bro.
No, we cannot.
Bro.
They got him.
Fortunately, you don't need to have a good ping to play Poppy.
Okay, wait, I think you can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not lying about the packet loss, obviously.
Obviously. No, you're hitting the lag switch right now to give you an excuse.
But yeah, no, Poppy was just super good. Peel and anti-engage. And yeah, and Ivern is just an insane champion. I don't know why it ever gets left open.
Ivern is really crazy. I watched the Spud series last week, and the game where you got Ivern, it was just it was hard to watch just because Ivern is such a brutal champion. Just destroys everyone and everything.
Yeah, that early game especially was experience as the Ivern. I just walked in the jungle and just took his blue buff for free.
Yeah, speaking of heroes, I want to talk about a little bit looking at our top lane here. Unkindness. You are up against one arguably the best top laner in the division. And despite game 2 starting the way it did, you managed across all 3 games to be a huge threat and find advantages there. So going into the matchup today, I don't know where I'm going with this question. I guess how, thinking about going up against such a proficient player, how did you kind of prepare? What picks did you want to prepare for that? Things like that. What was the prep look like? Do you think it went as you expected?
I'll be honest, prepped a lot of Zac. Thought that would be let through maybe once. No dice.
Nope.
But it's all about contributing. You gotta find a way to be useful. Maybe that means you go down 150 CS on a counter matchup. Maybe that's what that means. But you sack lane for grubs, and you gotta find a way to be useful out there. I could never crack this guy. This guy was Challenger Manetsu magazine every single week.
Hayden,
I wanted to see my name up there.
Tell him about the 1v1 prep we had beforehand.
Oh yeah, we did some 1v1 prep. Liam graciously would play.
Oh yeah.
Truck.
I definitely didn't die 4 times. That didn't happen.
I told him mid-game that Masuf Aatrox is a bit of a different beast. And listen, he's the GOAT. He had my number. But it's finding a way to contribute.
And you did. I will say, one of the good things about being Garen is that even if you're a melee minion, you can still find a way to be a threat just because Garen just does that. And also, the picks that you had with you, like the Morgana and the Seraphine, I thought were so smart with the Garen because it allows Garen to actually play the game in team fights, having those enchanters. Otherwise, you really just kind of struggle. It depends on finding good angles if you can't just stat check people. But with the assistance of the Black Shield, everything is possible.
This is true. I think normally the game plan on Garen would be stick in a side lane and don't be down 2 items against your laner and draw some pressure, but don't know how that didn't pan out. We'll maybe have to VOD review.
VOD review for next week.
I think at least Garen game, I found a couple of good angles on their backline. I was able to do some damage.
Yeah.
And listen, we ended the game with a W. Was it because of me? No, it was because of our jungler. But I'm going to take some credit.
Morgana versus Amumu Leona is so broken, by the way. I just want to say that.
Well, Morgana was like Exodia. That was the most nightmare scenario, was seeing the Morgana just... the Morgana 1v1 into the Aatrox, I think, was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
My whole team has not seen what happened. They have no idea. The 45-second long rundown where I absolutely broke Masuf's ankles.
It was awesome. You dodged everything, and then he proceeded to walk in a straight line into the queue, and the fade away he
burned to death, burned to the ground.
I was actually going to ask about that. So we know the theory. We know that we know about the Nico, about the brand, these sort of standard picks. Morgana has always been one of those picks when picked in mid lane that is sort of off meta, but not off meta. If someone picks it in your solo queue, you're not about to dodge because you can get it, but it's not really seen commonly, not really on any mid lane list. Most people don't play it. So what are the sort of strengths and weaknesses of it? Why do you like the Morgana mid lane?
So the Morgana mid lane, it's a really good neutralizer and probably one of the most effective supportive mid laners in the game that people just sleep on. If your team has any good hard CC, your follow-up CC is insane. It's similar to Lux, but even better. She has very good follow-up into team fights with Flash R. You get a lot of advantage from people not knowing what she does, especially not her damage scalings in mid lane. You push really well. It's hard to beat her push when she gets Lost Chapter. She has really good fishing potential, which is really important in comp. She's not in a great state right now, solo queue wise. If you look at my match history, you're not going to see much of anything in solo queue. But a split or two ago, I grinded her straight to diamond. I don't know. She's just me. She's not that great. I can do better on Nico and Asol, but I love her. That's it.
You know, that's entirely fair. I love her gameplay, but I love the character in every like cinematic and all art. She just looks so cool. I don't know if you played Mage Seeker, just all this. It's like constantly this sort of mysterious character, and I really love the sort of color and this like soul shackle idea of just like chaining people to the ground and making them upset that they can't move for 10 years. I think that's probably the best part.
All right. So one last question, and I suppose you can all sort of chime in here. For this draft league experience, obviously this is not like a coordinated team. I'm not going to ask you what's the future look like. But how would you say the draft league experience has been for you? And do you think you'll be coming back to try and to go for round 2 next season?
If they'll give me Viego mid.
No,
So you're not coming back.
it's never happening.
It should happen. Alka, if you're listening, any other team that wants me for any other league, please.
No.
Please.
I will be coming back for next season for
If anyone
sure.
wants to give Swain Top a go, I'm pretty decent at it.
All right. Okay. I'm hearing some good ideas.
I beat Toad in the 1v1.
I think
On the
the
Viego
secret
mid.
the secret to draft leagues is drafting players that you can like get along with. I feel like it did not matter how much gold we were down every single game. We were down 15k, and then we just start laughing and can win every single time. It's like the biggest difference. I feel like I've been on other draft league teams where it's like you're down 2k and it's like, well, we might as well FF, like go next, and it was like totally different.
I think as the person who drafted the team, I am the GOAT. But in reality, Liam did half of the work. So how our draft wound up happening was Liam was like the best player on paper in the draft. And I think he's did a really good job with what we needed him to do, which was
10 times.
Yeah, right. But he suggested Zebra, which in reality is kind of cheating because they have played on a team before. And I think what wound up happening was our draft was clearly just like a step above everyone else. Like Zebra, who is the best jungler in the league, we picked pick 32, which I'm gonna refrain from the clip, but everyone has seen the clip.
Craziest irrelevant of all time.
And I think the other shout out is to Unkindness coming in to replace our top laner, which I also have DMs from Kyle. Actually, I don't think it was a DM, but it was somewhere saying, "Are you sure you want him? You can get a Diamond 4 player."
I forgot about that. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
So toxic.
Why would you want diamond players? You saw what happened
True.
to S Legend on the other team. I mean, come on.
Exactly. You could have Blob
happened to
Marley in the
Ruffy?
top lane, or you could have a Diamond 4 player. Who do you want?
Yeah, I want Blob Marley every time.
Exactly.
I believe.
I think the draft experience is fun. I think it's hard for some of the teams to kind of mesh, and it's unfortunate that it happens that way. But we got lucky, so it's massive props to everyone on the team for not tilting when we go down 10k gold.
True.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to add, Noctisera, before we close it out?
I don't believe so. Just congratulations, guys. Play a hell of a series out there. Clean 3-0. Really great plays like the entire season, and I'm just glad you guys were able to enjoy it the entire way through. I think that's the best part of a draft league is when you can really mesh with the people, even though it's random. So congrats. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope to see you guys next season. But for now, I think we're gonna close it out for the night. If there's anything else anyone would like to say, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think Viego mid's a really good pick here.
You
Okay.
All right, I
the
think
stream.
the stream's over.
Cut the
Never
stream.
happening.
True.
One day. You know, my collegiate coach who was in chat hated the Morgana mid, doubted it, would never let me play it in college.
Deserved.
And look where it is now.
Mm.
Look upon you, mighty. And despair.
It did destroy Aatrox into the sun. Mentally shattered Masuf into 1,000 pieces.
That's all I have to say. Viego mid. The second coming.
Anyone else?
I'm all
All
done.
right. With that out of the way, again, congratulations to all of you. It's been a wonderful season here, but it is not over entirely. Next week, we will have the grand finals for the Ruby division. Two incredible teams will be stepping up there. We actually have not have either series complete yet, so both these series are going to be coming a little bit of a slobber knocker. But I'm excited to see which teams will have on the Rift next week. Surely we won't have Defoe making it to finals again. As the 7th seed in Ruby. Surely this wouldn't happen. This is not scripted. Anyways, I have been Becky Rita with Noctisera and, of course, Wookie Monster, who has now been given permission to actually do things, which is great news. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week for the Ruby Grand Finals. Have a great evening and get some rest.
Bye.